Forgot you were over here.
A very, very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Kern High Network. We are live. I need to remind my partner, we are live. He's such a famous dude. Look, we can't even start a football game off, Julian, with Kenny Calvin up here because there's too many people that want a piece of him. They want to bring him food. They want autographs. They want to talk to him. Good evening, everybody. Kern High Network. I'm Vance Palm with my longtime partner, Kenny Calvin. Julian Wilson to the right, running everything for live exclusive coverage of high school athletics here in Kern County. Tonight we are in our second game of the weekend. Last night had a great game up at Scotland Yard. Tonight we are at Liberty High School where the Patriots are hosting Spanish Springs in Sparks, Nevada, one of the top schools in northern Nevada. This is the rebound game. We played there last year, we meaning Liberty, Kern County. And they're coming in tonight to, Kenny, take on not only the defending Valley champions, but a team that was in the Southern California State Championship last year and was in it to the very end. Good evening. Good to see you. Welcome back. Haven't seen you in a while. Great to see you. We'll talk about a lot of things, but let's get to the football aspect of it. I'm down on the field. I look at Liberty, and I know Coach Nixon would throw me off the side here if he heard me say they look like midseason form, but they look good.
You know, and that's the beauty of having a Liberty program that so seasoned as they've went through so many great experiences is that they're always ready. There's no off season for a Liberty Patriots football team. You know, when they go through their spring workouts, they treat everything like it's game time conditioning. So to see them in mid-season form already, it just shows how hungry they are. And I always love watching Coach Nix and his guys get out there. And I can't even start a Liberty broadcast without shouting out one of my idols and icons in Jason Oliver, getting these guys ready in the secondary and on the edge every year.
I said hello to him for you about 30 minutes ago down in the field, and he said, tell him what's up. I said, I will do it. The Cougars of Spanish Springs, what do you know?
Spanish Springs, they went 5-6 last year, 3-3 in league, but they're number 7 in their division in the 5A conference, which is Division I out of state. But they're number 9 in the state of Nevada. So you look at a team that had a 5-6 record and you say, they can't be that good. But if you're in the top 10 in your state, you're definitely a quality football team because there's thousands of schools in Nevada that play top quality football. To be number 9 means you're ready for business.
Liberty will be kicking off to start the first game of the 2022 season for the Patriots. It's up, it's deep, and it's very, very deep. We've seen that before from Metters. I was down close and personal watching the special teams pregame. Long field goals being kicked, really long kickoffs being kicked, great snaps to the punter. So special teams shines in the very first moments of this football game. Coach Nixon.
And that's another thing that's consistent with Liberty football, some great kicking. You know, you had kids like Blevins kicking his tail off over the last few years. Now you get new guys with new opportunities that have already signed letters of intent to some major schools based on that boot.
One of the names we will not be calling tonight is the son of your idol, Little O, playing for the Buffaloes.
Man, it's such a beautiful experience to see how many athletes from Kern County transition to play ball at the next level. But that young man, J.O., is going to do some damage up there in the mountains.
Quarterback for the Cougars, J.J. Dane. He's in the shotgun, tried to get a hard snap right off the hard count right off the go.
J.J. Dane with the handoff.
Dane is the quarterback.
With the short carry, met at the line of scrimmage.
And they start with Logan.
Braden Weddle.
One of the tough things about seeing out-of-state football teams early at this level is that you don't get a lot of highlights and film and pre-game recognition. But one of the things that we can do is just test them from this first drive. They come out in the flex bone with the pistol.
2nd and 8, shotgun. Dane gets the hard count to work on the second count. He was trying for the first one, got it on the second one.
Right. You know, and they come out in the spread offense, I say, but they had a tight wing up top to make it look like that flex wing. But the discipline that you have from a team that's traveled 10 hours to come and play to get a penalty this early is very beneficial.
Whistles blowing. I do have the referees' names and their spots. We'll get to that here in a little bit. One of the prevailing narratives going into this season, Kenny, the shortage of officials for high school sports across the country. It is not excluding, it's not only here in California or in the Valley, but it's everywhere. So Coach Nixon burning a timeout with 11:27 to go in the first quarter. And a flag after that. So a yellow flag comes flying high up into the air. Coach Nixon had to burn a timeout, and then, as heated as he was, another flag comes flying up down from the line judge. Now the White Hat's going to come over and have a word, so ay.
What I hope doesn't happen is seeing Coach Nix get thrown out of a game 2 plays in the first game of the season, but this dead ball gives us time to allude to what you just talked about the officials, because the same thing holds true for us as broadcasters. You got guys that sit out on the couch and criticize the officials and criticize from the stands, but when it's time to sign up to do the job, none of them want to sign up and do the job. So I'm challenging all you dads and couch quarterbacks that know the game to come out here and apply to be an official in the Great Kern High Network.
One of the crazy things is that Coach Nixon sent one of his staff down to get some tape. Something to do with equipment is what our director Julian is telling us, that it had to do something with pads. So craziness before we even get going. Here's a handoff to O'Neal. O'Neal gets around the right side, picks up a first down. So we're just underway. I'm Vance Paul with Kenny Calvin, Julian Wilson here tonight at the Kern High Network. What a pleasure to be with you. Our second game in 2 nights, and that's going to be a recurring theme. We're going to have Thursday, Friday nights all season long, so that's going to be kind of fun. And we're here at Liberty tonight as they bring in the Cougars from Spanish Springs in Sparks, Nevada. We're in the first quarter, just underway, first possession of the ball game. And as always, big crowd here tonight for Liberty. Cheerleaders all the way down the track and field. Packed house here for the first game of the season. Again, Dane goes for the hard count. Nobody jumps. He drops back on a 1st and 10. He fires across the middle. Broken up out there. And really nice play. Jamel Davis with a nice defensive effort.
Well, they came out in an empty set, black with no backs, and really tested the inside interior of the linebackers. Great job by the middle linebacker having some recognition and not letting color cross his face.
First correction tonight, my only mistake I'll make, Jalen Hankins. Hankins was on the defensive effort there.
And that's my junior high teammate's son. Shout out to Brandon Hankins, the former East High Blade and state champion.
I don't want to mess that up. 2nd and 10. Big fella goes in motion. He comes over to the left side to block. Dane takes the snap. They stay on the ground. Ooh. And maybe a face mask, and it was. So Franklin had the carry, and you could see it from up here. His neck just got whipped back.
Short gain brings up 3rd down for the Cougars.
Yeah, they went that RPO read option, and just a great job closing the gap, but reached out there for that face mask.
Face mask on the defense.
Quality drive for Spanish Springs so far.
First down.
You know, Kenny, you come all this way. You're leaving. It's not as if you left the cool, crisp confines of, like, you know, let's say Nova Scotia, Canada. It's hot in Sparks. So it's not as if they're not used to the heat, but it's a long drive. They get here. They get all the way over here. They only have a few family members here. First drive is very important for them on the field when they've got the football first.
Great point, VP.
It's one thing to come across town. You don't have a great drive. All right, you get it back. But, man, you come all the way over here. You want to start first. Dane rolls, throws across his body.
Oh, nice hands.
Almost picked off. It was close to being picked off by Caleb Reisvig.
Broken up by Caleb Reiswig and Trenton Fulton.
Just hung up there a little bit too much.
Right, because they ran that flood pattern, and we call it the flood because you're putting 3 receivers at different levels. Just a great job by that underneath outside backer to get underneath in the path of the throw.
2nd and 10, just underway. First drive of the evening. The Cougars of Spanish Springs. Ball's at midfield. Quarterback J.J. Dane is a senior, 6 foot, 170-pounder in the shotgun. He's been there since the start.
Motion out of the pistol, swing route.
Tosses one over here, but nothing doing against this Liberty defense. It was caught out there by Eaton. But we've seen it for many, many, many years. One of the fastest linebacker crew you'll ever run into at this level out here in the West.
VP, you took the words right out of my mouth as usual, because East to West football is usually not going to fare well against this linebacker core. They do some amazing jobs pursuing their moments.
3rd and 9. Dane stands on his 45-yard line. Stronger right side now that the fullback's gone that way. Dane drops straight back, takes a look, unleashes one, and
nice grab.
Oh, goodness, and it's caught by that fullback. Wow. Marco Kasky makes a great nab. That's the fullback that went in motion. Woo!
Well, VP, while you were downstairs, I asked some of the young guys, who should we be watching? First name they mentioned was Marco Kasky. They also mentioned Aiden O'Neal. They mentioned Nate Penny. But after that seam route and catch at the highest point by Kasky, it shows you why he's the player that they mentioned first.
Just got tipped off by the young man over here, Kasky. So he's all money. Spelled C-A-S-C-I, but he's Marco Kasky. Man, that was a nice catchy. Oh, boy.
Hand off to Logan Franklin.
And Kenny keeps the chains moving. A, B, your QB gets a nice toss in there. Downfield that gets caught. That's a big play.
And it goes to correct the point that we just made. You're not going to beat them East and West. You have to take shots vertically. As soon as they do that, they get behind those backers. But that was an amazing throw and catch.
Set it up perfectly by trying to go horizontally. 2nd and 7.
Shotgun double set with a tight wing, H-back.
Dane's got a stronger left side now. This time he goes down the sidelines, got a man open, and it's caught for a touchdown. And it's get out there to Nate Penny.
Number 3, Nate Penny.
And it was the exact point that we just talked about, VP. You realize you're not going to beat this team East or West. You got to take vertical shots. They go to seam first, then they go that outside one-on-one fade after motioning away, going backside, catching that corner, sleeping. Night already.
They brought Kasky from the right to the left. He kind of took some traffic away from the right side, and, hey, how about that toss?
Amazing pass. Put the ball where only his guy can get it on that outside shoulder, because that wasn't horrible coverage.
J.J. Dane with the hold.
So Michael Mendez, see if he can get his first PAT of the evening. It's up, and it's a beauty. So 2 strong kicking games tonight. And
it'll be 7-0.
so if you're just getting with us here on the Current Eye Network, pleasure to have all of you with us. Thank you. And that was a really strong start by the Cougars. Just when you thought that the Patriots were going to put the hammer down on the 3rd down, bam, big pass to Kasky. And then after that, a touchdown pass to Nate Penny. So J.J. Dane starting off well. I'm Vance Palm, Julian Wilson to my right. Kenny, last night you took a pretty strong dig at Rick Van Horn and I. Let me tell you about this, Julian. We started our game last night. We're feeling good. The season's starting off. Kenny sends a text over. He said, audio's great. Well, the sound is good. Now, how do I take that? How do I take that? He says,
no, let me correct him.
What?
I said,
it's in my
you
phone.
Guys sound great, audio-wise.
Yeah, there you go. Right. And, so he says, you guys sound great audio-wise. So I said, okay, all right. I said, I got that cat tomorrow night. We'll see what goes on.
Hey, I'm working as the sound guy from the couch when I'm watching you guys at the house, man. Just trying to contribute.
Hey, then we talked about
Michael Mendez setting the ball up.
Oh, yeah. No, we didn't. We weren't missing it. That's not it at all. Hey, and then Kevin Willey, our other director, we were talking about, I said, I'm going to be with Kenny Calvin tomorrow night and Julian Wilson. He said, I want to be 105. Julian have his beanie on. Am I right?
Absolutely right.
So there's your crew tonight. Julian, myself, Kenny, great to be here. It's already 7-0. Ball taken at the 5-yard line. And Kizzy up to about the 34-yard line. Late flag, and I think it's going to be a late hit. I think that's going to be unnecessary roughness.
And starting right away for the Liberty Patriots, one of my favorite names in football last year, Kashawn Kizzy. Amazing athlete, does a lot of things for his football team to help him be successful. And hopefully this penalty doesn't go against Liberty, because that was some amazing field position.
No, it was a late hit. From what I saw, one of the Cougars came in late on the hit. Maybe it was something else, but they're definitely going.
After the play, dead ball, personal foul.
And that's tough, BP, because we just talked about how beautiful it was for Spanish Springs to come out with a quality drive, get points on the board against a team that they're more than likely the underdog to, but then you give them 50 yards of field position right after the kick.
Cole O'Brien will start for the Patriots. And just like that, they run into some big trouble.
Taken down behind the line of
Talk
scrimmage.
about showing up ready to play. Spanish Springs look like they mean business on both sides of the football through the first few minutes of the first quarter. Amazing penetration by that defensive tackle, but just a great job not getting too far upfield, as that's what the intentions of that draw does.
And Jalen Hankins, he could go nowhere instantly. He tried to hop over one of his own players, and that turned out even more disastrously. So it's 2nd and 15. O'Brien in the shotgun already. Looking pass. No, they go with Hankins. Hankins.
Hands off to Jalen Hankins.
Oh, what a great play call. What a great play call to the 39-yard line. So just like that, I think they're going to go to the air. No way. They go right back to Hankins.
Amazing play call, because right away Coach Nix adjusted based on the fact that he sees them pursuing too far upfield. So you run something quick. First down, Patriots.
Strong left side. O'Brien again. They stay on the ground. Flag on the play. Hankins still on his feet. Gets down to the 20, but there is a flag at the 40-yard line right down here in front of us.
And it looks like that's going to be holding on that right tackle / tight end. You know, and that usually happens when the back breaks and tries to go opposite of where the hole usually is. But when you run in that zone play, he's just trying to find a lane to get through. And there was nothing, but they wave it off.
And the officials are picking up the flag.
So they picked the flag up, and it ends up being a huge first down on top of the first down. So 2 first downs in a row by Hankins. Here come the Patriots.
And if you're Coach Rob Hummel, you're probably upset about that, because usually that is a holding penalty as you see that back break outside. But nonetheless, trips open set for the Patriots.
And the box man is Daniel Barron.
Rob Hummel, head coach for the Cougars. Brian Nixon, head coach for the Patriots. We have a timeout on the field. Give us a chance to catch our breath. I'm Vance Palm with Kenny Calvin, Julian Wilson. We're at Liberty High School for the second game of the weekend last night, Thursday night. Great game up there. Stockdale came to visit Scotland Yard, and it was a back-and-forth seesaw battle. And just when you thought that Stockdale might get back into it, the Highland Scotsmen just continued to just kind of pull. They had the right plays at the right time, and JoJo Mata had a nice evening. And just a really nice evening. Herrera is a nice quarterback for Stockdale. He's got a bright senior year ahead of him, so I know you got to see some of it. Did you pick up anything from that?
Absolutely. I love seeing Juarez run the football.
Oh, he's offensive player of the game.
Right, and he like last year he was one of my favorite backs to watch, but he's one of the toughest kids in the country, being a former Brazilian wrestling champion of the country. You know, he travels all over the world
Jiu-jitsu.
wrestling guys and dominating guys on the mat. So to see him do the special things that he does when he gets his opportunities on the football field is just fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty ironic. You're trying to hurt a guy like that, and he's like, you don't know the pain I've had.
But you don't know.
Right. 6.5 left in the first quarter. O'Brien has everybody out on the left side, but they stay on the ground, and Dangerfield takes the handoff and gets hit instantly, and that's Cameron Dangerfield, the senior, 5'9", 177.
Emmett Allen.
No huddle offense. They go right to the line of scrimmage on a quick 2nd and 10. O'Brien takes a look, has a man, throws it, but it's dangerously behind him. Ooh, boy.
Yeah, that's the tough thing about passing early on in the season. You're still working on timing, and that was a clear definition of that. Just the timing was off. Route combinations are off. He was a little bit open, had a step. As you lead him a little bit, you may get what you want, but you're fearful of that safety sitting over the top as well. So
3rd and 11, Kenny. Again, same setup. Way out left. He's got 3.
Trips open set.
Harrison to the right.
Single high safety, maybe a 2-man or man high single look.
It's a draw play. This time
Hands
gets
off to
nothing.
Hankins.
So nice job by the Cougars
Tackle,
defense.
Trenton Ross.
And it looks like they're going to send
About 4 will bring up fourth down.
Grant Metters in to at least put some points on the board.
Metters on
Grant
his feet.
Metters, he's one of those kickers who you really come to see do what he does. I mean, like a lot of people don't look at the kicking game as that fantastic, but he's one of those kids that excites you with his consistency.
That's a great point, Kenny. So let's go see that kicker boot 50-yarders.
Right, he's a special
Tyler
special
Lewis
young man.
holding. It's a 35-yarder from the left hash. The snap, the hold, the kick, and it is
Tyler Lewis with the hold. Metters, 37
way
yard
good.
field goal attempt is
I mean, I was
good.
just sitting saying, I hope I didn't jinx him, but that's how good he is. I mean, he walks off the side of the sideline saying, hold my soda.
Kenny, that's a 50-yarder.
Right, and just boots out a 50-yarder, ice cold, when it looked like the drive was going to finish. But, you know, that's one thing that we get out of a Liberty Coast team. They play well-rounded football. You're not going to blow them out. They're going to stick around and figure out a way to beat you.
The Bakersfield High School Drillers have 798 wins. Kenny, 798 wins.
I got 28 of those.
I love you. Here's the thing. The reason I bring it up is I'm trying to navigate the waters to get you and Dr. Van Horn to call the 800th. They're 2 away. What an incredible storyline for this season.
Right.
Coach Sheehy. They start the season with 798 wins. That's coming down the pipe.
Man, beautiful thing seeing Sheehy transition from the basketball experience, going back to what made him great as an individual. I mean, he was a 4-sport athlete, but he was a fantastic football player, but an ultimate
Ball queued up and ready to kick
phenomenal
it.
human being. And just seeing him take over my old program just gives me goosebumps to talk about it, as I got my former teammate Eddie J standing right next to me. Very special.
Frontier and North last night. They said North hung in there for a while. Tough, scrappy North and the talented Frontier squad. Another great game tonight. West High School playing tonight.
Hey, before we get too far, though, Frontier, man, for the last few years, VP, we've watched them get better and better. This might be the year where they make some people recognize.
I was playing at a golf tournament earlier this year with industry colleague that I work with, and the great Mike Lewis, here quarterback coach and special teams coach for Coach Nixon, and pretty much all around stud, Hall of Fame UCLA pitcher for Garces, and Bo Redstone, some guy named Bo Redstone. And we were playing in the Frontier Golf Tournament to support them, be a part of it, and the vibe there for football this is really strong. They are talking big stuff at Frontier. So as we kind of go through the evening, we'll talk about kind of what to expect this season and what we can look at in some of these teams. I know we saw a good Highland team last night, a growing young Stockdale team. But tonight it's Liberty hosting Spanish Springs. Spanish Springs on their second drive. A run to the left side. Uh-oh.
Franklin
We got a flag back here.
and is driven out of bounds.
And that's really going to make Coach Hummel upset as they just took one flag away.
Rajon Fulton with the tackle. It'll be 1st and 10, Spanish Springs.
Flag at the 25-yard line. They're not going anywhere. I don't see anybody insinuating that it's against Liberty.
Boy, and that may be a game-saving penalty right there, because I'm telling you, if you're Spanish Springs and he hits that sideline and keeps on trotting and it's 14-3, that makes it a whole lot bigger mountain to climb for a Liberty football team that's really just getting started.
From the spot of the foul.
To accentuate your point, the fact is that they scored on their first 2 drives. You know, I mean, to think that, hey, every time we get the ball, we're going to score. It's the psychological side as well. So pulls him back a little bit. There's a hold on that.
Huge penalty.
1st and 15, 5:09 remaining here in this first quarter. Great to have you with us. Dane in the shotgun looks over to the right side. 2 receivers split way out. One so far out, he's out of your picture on the left side.
30 even front for Liberty. And that 3-4 defense with 4 linebackers, quarters covers behind it.
Play action bootleg to the right. Dane takes a look, throws across the middle, and what a catch. What a catch as well.
Completed.
Wow, Nate Penny pulls one in.
Number 3, Nate Penny at the reception.
We've seen, what do we say, 5 passes out of this young man. 3 have been darts.
And
That'll be 3rd and short for the Cougars.
Kizzy all over him. Great coverage. I mean, he was gloving him, but still they got him in there. So 2nd and 2. Ball's at the 29-yard line. Hard count, and they did. They've got the left end out there to jump. So you're looking at,
Red ball. Encroachment.
I think it
on the
was
defense.
Christian
5-yard penalty.
Greatling.
Results of the play. First down.
Greitling, the left defensive end, jumped. So you got to hand it to Dane as well, right at the perfect moment, you know.
Yeah, their timing seems very precise through this first quarter.
You're right.
Into the shotgun.
1st and 10.
Pistol formation, doubles with an H-back to the right against the quarters coverage for Liberty. 3-4 defense, and now they're motioning the trips. And that's going to be a nice power run into a brick wall of Liberty. Great pursuit.
Hey, Drew Underwood on the hit.
Number of Patriot defenders.
Shout out to the Underwood family.
Drew Underwood and Beckham Dilson.
No, but that's one of the things that we talk about a Liberty team that's so strong up front. It's going to be hard to beat them with power. You have to use finesse. It was successful for you last drive. Let's see if they go back to trying to spread them out and keep that ball moving in the air.
You're right, KC. They're trying to do it in between tackles right now. 2nd and 9. 3:20 to go here in this first quarter. What a blast. Friday night.
We back, baby.
Dane throws, fires, complete, 40-yard line. Nice 6-yarder. Should be about 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, right around there.
With the tackle and
And I love when they allude right to our points right away. You have to find ways to take advantage of individual mismatches against powerhouse teams like Liberty. You're not going to beat them playing smash mouth football.
Evan Ledbetter down here going one-on-one with Kizzy. That's a nice matchup right at the bottom right of your screen, 85 and 13.
Oh, yeah. Kashawn Kizzy, look out for special things from this kid this year. He was phenomenal last season. I expect big things out of him this year.
3rd and 5. Play action. How about this for that Liberty defense? That is just a fantastic job. They tried to mix it up and set a little screen out here and just did not work.
And that may be a game-saving drive for them to get them off the field because the timing of Spanish Springs, they look a little more crispy than we thought of our own Liberty Patriots through the first quarter. But I just queued up something. I told you, look out for special things from number 13. So let's see if he holds true as he gets his first opportunity at a punt return. One of the hardest jobs in football, ladies and gentlemen.
Kizzy stands at the 25. Here's the punt. It's high.
Mendez's kick.
And they down it at the 33-yard line. 137 remains in this first quarter. It's a 7-3 score with the Cougars of Spanish Springs up on the Liberty Patriots. Last night is a 10-point win for Highland over Stockdale.
You know, and it was a beautiful thing to see the crosstown rivalries right away. To see Stockdale and Highland that early in the season, I was pretty excited about that.
We talked about that, you know, a little bit. Rick Van Horn, I talked a little bit about the fact that very point, Kenny, that, you know, we're going from the far, far west up to the farthest east spot you could go to start the season off. Here's a little slant inside. Chisholm trying to get outside. He's got the first down already. He's still on his feet. Breaks 2-3 tackles and steps out of bounds. He's not smashed out of bounds. He steps out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Broke a few tackles and first down Liberty.
Talk about some amazing design. We used to call that the rocket screen because the two tackles or the tackle and guard will rocket out to go get the corner, and that receiver will rocket in to get that screen. Amazing job.
And that's going to be possibly a clip. We'll see. Maybe a clip. Block in the back, we think.
Runner on the right side by the Patriots.
Yeah, and we heard that coming from the press box.
It was surreal because I saw it when we heard the press box say it.
Nice run by Jalen Hankins.
And Hankins changed directions for just a second, and that might have been just enough for the infraction to take place. Yep, that's exactly what it was.
10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
Yeah, and we definitely weren't correct about how crispy Liberty would be, as they've, kind of sputtered out through the first quarter on both sides of the football. You give up a couple of first downs, to some encroachment penalties. You've had a couple of false starts. These are the kinks that coaches work out in the first games. Expect that to be corrected.
Well, we've been so accustomed to see Liberty in midseason form in week 0. It's unfair. O'Brien tosses over to the left side, makes it to Harrison, so Harrison makes the grab.
Yeah, he got his helmet knocked off, too. Nice pursuit by 26.
Christopher Shakespeare.
15.
And number 26, Connor Norton.
Connor Norton with the huge hit.
Under a minute to go. And that smoke that's wafting across the field, you probably won't see it in your shot unless Julian gets hankering to do so. But that smoke coming across the field is cheeseburger and barbecued rib smoke. It's not a fire in the neighborhood. O'Brien fires across his body. Oh, what a throw and what a catch. He put that on the money. That was absolutely a dart. The receiver was standing there waiting for it. That right there represents the smoke that cooked the 7-pound cheeseburger that Kenny and Rufus were eating. Those guys have more food up here than the Golden Corral.
Trips open set for Liberty. Looked like we had a little movement, but they get away with it. And nice move on the outside, still on his feet.
How special. How special. How special. Mekhi Duluth, the junior running back.
Amazing job by the guard and center inside, but just the individual effort after breaking through that hole, gained about 6 extra yards. And now we got a timeout on the field as the first quarter ends, VP.
7-3, Spanish Springs. The Cougars up 7-3 over the Patriots. We hope you're enjoying this Friday Night Football on the Kern High Network. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to second quarter action. Vance Palm, Kenny Calvin, Julian Wilson, our director this evening, brought up a great point. We got the gentleman down there in front of the student cheering section with the flags and the hats and the paint. They don't sit down until there's a touchdown scored by Liberty, and it might be soon. It might be now. Woo, what a nice play. Amaya Harrison with a great grab. What a nice throw by O'Brien. So as we start the second quarter, the all-standing student section might be able to have a seat here. O'Brien, no-huddle offense, and it's probably going to be a flag because they didn't get all the Cougars off the field, but I don't think it's going to matter. We think it's a touchdown.
And the carry by Jalen Hankins, brought down near the goal line.
So they had one of the big fellas for the Cougars running off the field. He did not get off in time. And he actually ran right by the official. So the official throws the flag. Liberty thought they were in. All the linemen had their hands up as if they were in, of course.
Coach Nixon has been fired up from the start.
I talked to Coach Nixon a little before the game.
An illegal substitution on the defense. That penalty is going to be declined.
So it is a
There
touchdown.
it is. So it is a touchdown. Liberty scores.
And that'll take the score up to 9-7 as Grand Cougars will line up for the PAT.
Liberty on the board with a TD.
And they're trying to roll their flag out. A little tangled up. But you got to love the spirit of Liberty football. They've been waiting to display their flag and sit their student section down. They got a rule. They can't sit down until their first touchdown. They finally get it. And now they'll take the lead, 10-7.
Better's kick is up and good. That brings the score to
So I was talking to Coach Nixon before the game. I said, how was the summer? He said, short, very short. I said, yep, I get you. I get you.
You know, we had a conversation earlier just referencing how much time goes into the coaching experience. And it was with my wife and her friend as she was basically saying why she wouldn't let her husband coach, who was one of my former Renegade players. And I just explained, I was like, well, I mean, when you guys got young kids, it's definitely a sacrifice. So I understand you having that approach, ma'am, but let my man have his whistle. You know, but it's just a huge sacrifice. So kudos to all the coaches who put the time in.
100% agree with you, Casey. Well, they love it, and it's for the kids. You know, and I think about these officials that are out here it's the same kind of a bond, the same kind of a feeling. They know that if they don't, help out and get involved and be a part of it, you know, now we're having Thursday games, Wednesday games. There's a lot to be said for the compassion that they have and the concern that they have. But look, if we don't do this, these young kids aren't going to have this to do.
Right, and let's make it an even deeper point of it, VP. Football has been the driving force of our Kern County economy for 100 years. We have to have people who are willing to dedicate some of that time and invest some of their time back in the community so we can continue to have the great legacies and opportunities that we have. So shout out to everybody that's doing that. I paid my dues with my whistle. I can't go back to coaching until my daughter graduates, but guess what? She's a senior this year.
Casey!
So look out. I might be coming to take somebody's whistle.
Yeah, I love to hear. Long boot. I tell you what, I'll go ahead and I'll take this time right now to read off our officials' names. Tonight, the head gentleman in the white hat, the referee, Joe Saldivar. The umpire, the legendary, long-time Bakersfield College 1978 basketball playing champion, Bob Williams. Head linesman, Brian Coates. The line judge, Ronald Venters. The box judge, Brian Grant. And in the box, the back judge, Brian Grant. And in the box, Daniel Barron. Thank you, gentlemen.
My man, B. Grant.
Can't thank you enough for your involvement in being out here to help these things go along here. All right, here we go. Third series for the Cougars.
Yeah, and they're in that tight double set. Pistol formation, playing a little check with me against the quarters coverage. 3-4 defense of Liberty.
So now you have Tate Hummel back there, the junior.
Hand off to Logan Franklin. Met near the line.
Logan Franklin on the carry, but again, that Liberty defensive front seven has paid dividends game in and game out for about a decade straight. You're not going to make too much money in there, but you have to keep the defense honest by running every now and then, so I understand why you're doing it.
2nd and 9, Hummel looks over to the sidelines. Same last name as the head coach, Rob Hummel.
And they've looked pretty good through the first half.
Hummel hands the ball off. Nice footwork. Good cut.
Hand off to Franklin.
Franklin gets about 6 out there, so it's going to be 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2.
Tackled by Beckham.
And, boy, this is an important 3rd down for this Cougars offense.
Yeah, great job by that back sticking his foot in the ground and just getting upfield, but amazing job by Underwood coming and putting his hat across the bow. 3rd and short. No, the ball's on the ground!
Oh, goodness.
By Hummel and
And to my point, the effort of Underwood to fly like he did the previous play basically saves the drive.
Kills it for the Cougars because now there is no question. They've got to boot this ball. Oh, boy.
Huge blown opportunity
And
for
now-
Spanish Springs.
And Kizzy's waiting for one long punt tonight. He's just waiting for one long punt.
Oh, yeah. And I'm telling you, this kid is special. He's one of the best athletes in the Central section. And if he gets a nice punt,
There
this
it
looks
is.
like one.
There it is.
Rashawn Kidd.
And he's out of here.
He's got a big wall,
I
a
told
huge
you.
wall. He may go all the way. Oh, a touchdown-saving shove out there
33-yard line.
by the punter.
10 Liberty.
And
On the play.
a flag. Not sure where it was in the play. Oh, it's back on the other side by the 50-yard line. So he had the wall, Kenny. He was gone.
And just in that little 25-yard experience, you get a nice little glimpse inside the athletic ability that we were referring to.
Return. Personal foul. Defenseless player on the return team.
And that chaps my hide because once upon a time, those weren't penalties. As defensive backs, I was upset if I didn't get a crackback block every game. Nowadays, you can't do it. You have to allow a guy to see you and just get in the way. The game is being officiated in a different aspect for safety.
Right.
So I appreciate that from a safety standpoint, but as a defensive back, that chaps my hide.
Screenplay.
Jace Nixon in at quarterback.
And-
pass away under duress. Completed to the running back.
It's a nice one.
Jalen Hankins with the reception.
Hankins has been
Number
busy.
44, Cougar Dean with the tackle.
The Patriots now come in with Jace Nixon.
Patriots.
So we have a coach's son in the last series for the Cougars with Hummel, and now we have Nixon quarterbacking for the Patriots. How about that, man? You talk about hitting the gap hard.
Off
Hankins.
the right side into Spanish Springs territory.
Golly.
Near the first down marker.
You know, that gives us an opportunity to highlight some of these big boys up front for Liberty. You know, everyone loves the position player. You come to the game, all the people got their jerseys on, but the money is made up front. And that offensive line is putting in work right now.
Nixon tosses one to the right side, puts it in Chisholm's hands.
Pass completed. Xander Chisholm with the reception. Jace Nixon on the pass.
8:20 remaining in the half.
That'll
It's a
bring up
10-7
second and 4 for the
lead.
Patriots.
Liberty up right now over Spanish Springs out of Sparks, Nevada. Spanish Springs struck first, and we thought they were going to go back-to-back on their drives.
You know, we talk about the success of that offensive line, and there's an example.
To the end zone.
Right as I was just about to highlight the offensive line and talk about how well Dylan Delgado, Tyler Bogman, Braden Weddle, Daniel Estrada, Cade Greatland, Owen Doolin, Anthony Juarez, Landon McDivitt, Jonathan Solich. And we'll get to some more of them in a minute. But Liberty is going to find a way to beat you. They're going to take your time. That drive was just the offensive line putting in work and moving hats.
Next. Cade Greatline.
Kenny, that was right down Broadway.
Amazing job up front. You know, the guard and tackle are probably two of the most unrecognizable people on the football field because they hide inside. They got people on the outside and people behind them. But when they put in work like that, you see the Red Sea part, and you see somebody can drive a truck through that hole right there. Just amazing job out of the front six.
Right on cue, you were talking about it, and it's like the middle of the freeway just opened up, and like an escort into the end zone. That was big. So Coach Nixon over there talking to Jamel Davis.
Right. Now, I mean, and let's go ahead and highlight the rest of that line because that's what we were about to do before the snap. Ethan Flores, number 62, Jackson Graham, Armando Trevino, Damari Davis, Zachary Einstein, Joseph Fernberg, Jackson McMahon, Reese Schmidt, Grant Bucky. How about that name for a lineman? Seth Siebert, Tyler Shelton, Max Juarez, Jeremiah Emanuel, and Luke Fry,
This is a great opportunity to give a shout
as well as Sebastian Hartman putting in work up front. Shout out to the whole offensive line.
Well, both teams had a chance to kind of catch a breath before this PAT as Coach Nixon and his running back DB, wide receiver Jamil Davis, kind of walked back over here to make sure he was okay. So here is, at the 8-minute mark, Metters with a PAT. Let's see if he clears the chain link fence. It's always fun with these kind of cats to see just how far they do kick it. He decides to take a sand wedge and just kind of keep it short.
Tyler Lewis with the hold, and Grant Metters' kick is up
Yeah,
and
and that's
good.
a good 14 unanswered points.
With 8 minutes left in the half.
17-7 to Kenny's point. Liberty looks like they're shaking off the cobwebs a little bit. I'm Vance Palm, Kenny Calvin, Julian Wilson here on a Friday night. It's still kind of warm. Last night up there on the east side, that wind comes up over the Panorama Bluffs, and we get a little bit of a breeze. But tonight, my friend, all we're getting is the heat off the canal behind us. So
Yeah, no Curran River breeze on this side of town, huh?
I'm teeing off tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. at Buena Vista Golf Course for a local tournament. And we're hoping to finish by noon so we don't get the 111. But it's that time of year, about 2 or 3 more weeks, and I think we may be able to get into that comfy, cozy fall weather. How those Renegades look, buddy?
Well, you know, I was just talking to one of my teammates earlier, letting them know I haven't had a chance to see practice, but the beauty of hearing that we had 190 people come out to participate in football, and now we're down to 150 and still going to cut down to 90. Boy, that makes a former player and coach feel good, because all I need is bodies. I'll make the players.
And I'm hearing great things in the backfield. A lot, running back, QB, seems to be some depth back there.
Yes, I did hear that we had a lot of depth at quarterback. We got the young Levi Manning from Centennial. He's battling it out with our former quarterback from last year that did pretty well, that played at Central. You know, it's exciting to see guys have an opportunity, because we have a beautiful building and facilities going up there. You do want to be the part of the first team that has that success as that beautiful production takes place, I should say.
That's a great point. Great point.
I mean, who wouldn't want to shine on that Jumbotron?
Oh, he just trickled back into the end zone. He wanted to run it out, but O'Neal's heel crossed over the goal line, so it's whistled off. And to your point, I was up there yesterday doing some work for the Hall of Fame event, and I'll tell you what, it's gonna be phenomenal what they do at that campus.
Speaking of the Hall of Fame, how can we not congratulate and shout out boss man Stan Green first?
Dr. Romaine Cleroux,
Doc.
Dwayne Dameron, Stan Green, Sandy Taylor, Jeremy Stott, Octavio Martinez. It's
going to be beautiful, man.
That's big time.
Pistol formation. They're going right back to the ground. Oh, Logan Franklin. They're definitely trying to stay consistent and balanced. And if you're getting runs like that, you can continue to do that.
Dean is back in, so J.J. Dean comes back in at QB. No huddle offense. They go right away. They want to start this immediately. Liberty's not ready, so they're trying to get this snapped off even quicker.
And it looks like we got an illegal substitution down here as well.
On Liberty.
Yeah, and you see, anytime you see J.O. throw his hat, you know it's not good. But it looked like we had somebody come on late, and we'll see what's going on as the white hat. Oh, and they wave it off. So that's the second waved off penalty.
Second and 10.
Top-notch crew out there for a big-time game.
Yeah, great job communicating, because this is a big game. You know, when you have those interstate wars happening, you want to make sure things are right. 2nd and 9. Shotgun spread set, pistol formation.
Dane looks left, was always going to go left. Again to Franklin. Franklin's got the speed.
Uh-oh.
He might get outside. Oh, goodness.
Whoa, touchdown saving tackle.
Man, oh, man. So they want to hustle up there and get up on the line already. They want to start putting some pressure on this stout, strong, quick veteran defense. The one way that you can attack it is through just incessant speed coming at them, and that's what the coaching staff's trying to do for Spanish Springs. Hurry up the offense. But a little confusion.
One thing for sure, I see no panic in Spanish Springs. They're coming out. They're making good decisions. Yeah, they're down 10 points, but they're still moving the football and getting some success. Pistol spread set, 1st and 10.
Dane hands the ball off. Franklin carrying the load right now, and they finally catch up to him.
And Franklin is putting in work, 4 yards in the cloud of dust. You do that 3 times in a row, you got a first down. It's not pretty football, but it's successful.
And Beckham Nilsson, number 16 jersey for Liberty, got over there awfully quick. And again, the Cougars trying to keep this pace up with 6:40 to go in the first half.
Yeah, 30 even front again for Liberty.
Dane rolls to his right, thought about it, has a man, lets it go, and that's going to be caught! O'Neal makes the catch and falls backwards on his back. What a catch. That's an ESPN catch over the back.
You are absolutely right, because he caught that ball behind his back. He couldn't see it. And that was actually great coverage because the DB turned around to play the ball right at the right time. But that was just another amazing pass.
Hate to do it, but I had to be cliche. I have to do it. It was that good of a play. It was that good of a catch. What a snag.
A little confusion on the field for Spanish Springs after that successful play, and that's what drives coaches crazy. If you hear the background noise, you have our coaching staff from Spanish Springs right next to us, and they're screaming out for players.
Well, they're looking specifically for Marco Casci. They're saying, where's Casci at? And the reason it's such a stinger for this coaching staff is because they've got Liberty right where they want them, on their heels. And they just come up with a huge play, and they had everybody at the line of scrimmage. They wanted to snap the ball immediately, but they didn't have their player in there that they wanted. So I guess the upside, if you're looking to be a glass half full, guys, that the Cougars actually get a chance to catch a breath as well. But, you know, Coach Hummel, he wanted to continue to keep the pressure on.
Right, because what that does, VP, it gives outstanding Liberty defense an opportunity to reset themselves after a huge play, 50-50 ball that was caught. But that was an amazing pass and catch. But also good coverage. We can't call it great coverage because he gave up the catch.
So they come back in. Casci is in now, so he's there on the right side. That's who they were waiting for. 1st and 10, 6:09. Here come the Cougars. They're down by 10 here late in the first half.
They was looking for the cash. He's in there now.
Dane. Now he's got to get rid of it. Nobody's over there. Coaching staff looking for some help.
That should definitely be intentional grounding, as I don't think he got out of the pocket.
And you know what gave that away was Dane's release, and you could tell that he even knew there's nobody over there. It's almost like sometimes you can sell it.
Illegal man downfield.
Wow, and they didn't even call they didn't call the grounding. You know, I'm thinking that may be one of those 50-50 opportunities where you just pick something, because that was definitely grounding. He didn't get outside of the hash. Nonetheless, 17-7, 6:04. Liberty turned it back on with a successful second quarter, but this is a huge red zone opportunity for the Spanish Spring Cougars.
That replay down makes it 1st and 15.
Ball's
Inside the red zone.
Ball's at the 15. So basically 1st and goal from the 15. The throw deep in the corner. He's going to run out of real estate. Makes a nice snag. Really nice catch by Penny.
And that was a great job by that DB because they're trying to attack him. But one of the things you have to understand is that if you can't beat the guy to the point, it's just about positioning yourself and running them out of bounds. You put your shoulder into his chest and you continue to run him out of bounds while playing the football.
Kind of be aware of how much real estate you have left.
Absolutely.
Right. 2nd and goal from the 15.
We got dads right underneath us.
Like it. I love it.
I love it. I love it. Shout out to the dads in the stands. Shotgun spread set, pistol formation. Liberty staying in that quarters look, 3-4 defense.
Dane in the shotgun. His heels are on the 20. He rolls, throws across the middle.
Oh, it could have been picked off.
He just quit running. It was Evan Ledbetter that was on the route, and he just stopped running.
Yeah, and as a DB, you're playing your man because you're in man coverage. You don't want to take your eye off of him. But if you had an opportunity to peek, that could have been 98 yards heading the other direction.
So 3rd and goal. 3rd and goal from the 15.
Trips open set for the Cougars.
He only has Franklin back there with him. I don't know that it could be anything such as a draw. They throw across the middle. He's got his man.
Nice play. Oh, and it's caught off the tip. Talk about Sports Center.
Aiden O'Neal.
Number 2, Aiden O'Neal.
The ball deflected off him.
Amazing coverage.
Aiden O'Neal's had two Sports Center catches in one drive, and the coaching staff from the Cougars saying, hey, that's exactly how we wrote it up, fellas. What are you talking about?
Well, great job by the Spanish Springs coaching staff running the inside route because they've attacked the edges, but just great coverage underneath, and he tips it up. But that's why we always say don't tip it up, tip it down.
And another great thing about it also, Kenny, is that Aiden had himself in the neighborhood. He didn't stop his route. Had he stopped his route early, he wouldn't even been close. So the PAT's good. We have a nice one going on here. 5:27 remaining in the first half. 17-14. Liberty up by 3, and this is growing into a really, really nice contest. You're watching all of this in the Curtin High Network. We want to thank Liberty High School, all the staff, and all of the game management people, everybody that's made this such a great evening tonight. Thank you to Stan Green and all the superintendents at the Kern High School District. Appreciate everything you have done to make this happen. And Valley Strong Credit Union, we want to thank you for making this available tonight, making this opportunity available to us. I was talking to our fearless leader, Stan, last night via text during halftime and said, man, it sure feels good to be back in the groove. And he goes, yeah, it almost feels normal. You know, that word normal, almost feels normal. I said, yeah, man, I know what you mean, Stan.
And it was funny, VP, that's one word that we took for granted for so long in life until this last couple of years where things were so abnormal. You know, and just thinking about just getting back to the routine of what makes our area great. You know, it's an exciting thing.
That's the voice of Kenny Calvin. I was telling our director, Julian, he said, when's the last time you guys seen each other? We both wanted to say, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and it's just because we're so tight and I haven't seen him. But it's been a while, and it sure feels good to be in his company. Here's the kickoff. That's a 9-iron all the way back to the 5. A fumble. Oh, and he bobbles it all the way down to the 15.
And taken down at the 24.
And paid the price because it gave the opportunity for Carson Hills.
Yeah, and sometimes you're so excited to make a big play that you're overthinking things. He's all alone and cost himself an opportunity and also some good field position. 5:21 to play in the half. Liberty up 17-14. VP, what do you expect out of the Patriots? Are they going to try to kill the clock?
Coming back with Jace Nixon. I don't know that that's going to be the plan as much as just whatever we do, we better execute perfectly. No mistakes. Nixon. A little too much on it. Is intended out there to Hankins.
And that's the point. The question I asked you was to make this point. If you come out too aggressive trying to throw the ball too quick, you give it right back to a hot Spanish Springs team. So you come out, you throw it on the first down. Now the clock stops. Let's see what happens on this second down, and this will let us know what the mentality is.
Hand off to Hankins.
Hankins gets it up to about the 30-yard line.
Now we got another injury on the top, and that's going to stop the clock again for the injury timeout.
Down on the field.
Oh, and I think that's Christian Edwards that's down. We do at this stage of the season in the early goings without a ton of time in this hot weather. You do see the cramps that start to kick in. You hopefully that's all it is. When I say all, if you've ever had one, you know how painful they are. But try to keep that to a minimum.
Yeah, and that's definitely one of the things that we hate to see in game ones. Managers having to come out and assist with injuries. Guys have worked all summer, all spring to get out here to have an opportunity. So good job by the young man getting up on his own power. Hopefully he can bounce back. It looked like it might be a shoulder. Hopefully it's not a collarbone or something more serious. You know, keeping that arm low is never good.
Christians walking off with the staff. They'll start this clock once everybody's set.
Yeah, and it's a big third and 5 to 6. It was exactly the point that I was making. You come out aggressive throwing the football, you might be giving the ball right back. And it's a possibility that you go into the half down instead of up.
Right, got to pick up the first here. Under 5 to go. Clock is moving again. Nixon hands the ball off, stretched out to the left side.
Oh, that's a huge hole.
And no yellow, no flag.
Whoa.
Kenny saw it, but no flag.
Boy, that was very fortunate by that left tackle, number 75 of Liberty. He had him around the waist, but right at the right time, he let him go. And that turns into a huge first down by Liberty.
We saw a lot of that last night with the Scotsman. A lot of this, a lot of, hey, oh.
Right.
Nixon, slant inside. Nice pass, and it is complete.
Right. You know, you always know how to find the guilty guy because you see both his palms. But nonetheless, that's a mute point. Second and short for Liberty, and now they're pressing the metal with 4:26 left in the half.
Ball was placed just shy of midfield.
Mahanke with the catch.
Nixon takes the snap.
Oh, what a beautiful job by this offensive line. That was really, really nice. Boy, what a great job by the left side of that offensive line.
Yes, it was. Grant Bucky, one of the most famous names in football here in Bakersfield, California, is putting in work, moving bodies.
I mean, look at big 72 right there. For those of you that are catching this Liberty football team for the first time, that left tackle there, Bucky, has a very promising future in front of him.
Oh, receiver slips on the quick hitch, and that's unfortunate.
Fulton lost his footing.
Pass falls incomplete, intended for Trajan Fulton. Number 8, Dominic Rees with the coverage.
Under 4 to go in the first half.
Second and 10 for the Patriots.
A little late evening started due to the heat.
Cam Dangerfield takes the handoff. Bounces it around the right side, finds a little room, taken out of bounds for a 7-yard gain. Brings up third and short for the Patriots.
Liberty doing a great job
AC Lusk on the tackle.
using the delay draw and outside read to get things done. Zone reads. Most of their work has been done on the ground, and they're continuing to get first downs.
Yeah. And now that coaching staff for Liberty has all the cards in the deck they need, just grind this clock down and pace this thing out to score.
This is how I felt that they should have came out.
I say that and they go to the end zone. Look at this, touchdown. Trey Fulton.
Talk about amazing pass and catch. He caught that at the highest point as well. As they go after that corner on the fade route. Great pass, great catch, touchdown, and Liberty answers right back.
Well, when your head coach and your dad is Brian Nixon, chances are you're going to sling a few of those in your life, but that was a beauty, an absolute beauty.
Yeah, but this great play calling by Liberty. They pound the football after the first pass doesn't work, lure you to sleep with that ground game, and then go a quick play action over the top.
PAT good, back to a 10-point game, 24-14. So this is a nice one right here. Back to a 10-pointer, but we've seen this Cougar squad hang in there and be tough. But how about that touchdown pass from Nixon to Fulton.
With that PAT, the score is
Yeah, amazing pass by Nixon.
With 3.5 minutes to play before
Right on the money. Fulton had about 3 or 4 more yards to work with in that corner. That's about it. So it wasn't as if they had a huge parking lot to fit it in. Nice pass, great play call, and we've seen this before, Kenny. We've called a lot of early Liberty games over the years where for the layman, the average fan, they look really sharp, really good, but the coaching staff from Liberty is not pleased with the 2 or 3 or 4 big things, some visible things. And then by the second quarter, they seem to have polished them up, and then we know how Coach Nissen and his staff are at halftime. They're amongst the very, very best at alignments and adjustments, realignments and adjustments, and maybe a few discussions, if you will. So they're already looking pretty darn good.
Great point, VP, because as a young player, I couldn't understand why my coaches were upset after we blew somebody out by 35. In
week 1.
I had 3 catches and 190 yards. And I'm like, why are you yelling at me? Because it's a continued learning process. They're continuing to teach us how to get better. And if you think you're great already, you're not going to get better.
I like that. 3.5, so just as I was talking about.
And that ball will sail into the end zone for a Liberty touchdown.
Ooh, that was close. That ball almost didn't go in.
A little too close for him to be that relaxed.
Aiden O'Neal, the return man, essentially didn't budge. He didn't move. He never even tried to catch the kickoff. And his assumption, which is appropriate with a kicker like Meadows, is that the ball was going to sail so far deep in the end zone that he didn't have to worry about it. That ball bounced 1 yard past the goal line and never stopped. That was close. Can you imagine?
That was close. Talk about getting chewed in the film session. That's going to be a nice chewing for him.
Here's one for you. JoJo Mata last night, the quarterback for Highland. All-around superstar athlete. Late in the game, he punted a 5-iron, just 50 yards straight, and it hit at the 4-yard line and didn't move, didn't budge. Never. Man. It was almost like it was a magnet. Great punt by JoJo.
JoJo is another one of my favorite names in high school football.
Bucky's on him. He gets rid of it. It's a gain of about 6 yards, but wow. For a second there, it looked like Grant Bucky was about to get a big-time sack.
And this is confident football by Spanish Springs, coming out and throwing right now. It's like I said about Liberty in the last drive. Throwing on your own end of the field with little time left in the half, well, with enough time left for the defense to get it back, is very dangerous.
Dane drops back, fires another one.
Oh! Cross the 15! Oh! Right as I said it, VP. Andrew Sons makes the amazing play and it alludes to the exact point I was trying to get out of my mouth. Throwing the football on your own end is so dangerous when there's still time to make a mistake and give it to the opposing team. And that's exactly what they do as Liberty gets the first interception of the game. Wow. Put us in the booth. Oh, they did.
That was right.
After the interception, dead ball.
Right on cue.
Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Right on cue, Kenny. You were just talking about it.
We couldn't get the sentence out our mouth.
And the only mistake is that I gave you the wrong name because of the jerseys were so tight. They're so tight. It's Beckham Nilsson.
Okay, Beckham Nilsson with the great play on defense.
To our audience, that's me. I pointed to the roster for Kenny so he could finish his sentence, and I gave the wrong number. That's a turnover, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah, but just alludes to the point that we made. Trying to be aggressive on your own end of the field can backfire on you, and right now you're giving up a touchdown to a team that's striking on all cylinders. Touchdown, Patriots.
So to the Beckham Nilsson family, my apologies. Nilsson with the interception. And right on cue, Kenny talked about it, that the Cougars were playing with such confidence that deep in their own territory they were going to try to gobble up some yards and make something happen, and picked off for 6. And all of a sudden, the doors are blown wide open here at Liberty Field.
Well, VP, is funny because we do these broadcasts for years in and years out, but there's always a guy on the couch saying, Why are those guys up there? Well, it's because we have experience based on what we've seen before, and we're just calling it how we see it, and that's a perfect example of it.
I don't think they're saying that about you, but I could rattle off 10 or 12 right now that are saying about me, even at this moment right here. The problem is they text me. What are you talking about, Palm?
Oh, trust me, they go after us.
Hey, but Kenny, you got it just perfect. The overarching point of this is that, Spanish Springs wasn't going to just try to run the clock out, but they have to pay the price now.
Yeah, and that's a huge mistake because you were down 10. You were playing pretty well. And now you go down 17 points to one of the hottest teams in the state that's finding themselves right now. You have to learn how to manage football games in moments. And that's one of the things that's most underestimated about football is just wanting to always take a shot. Sometimes you just have to manage the experience. But Coach Rob Hummel, he's came out aggressive. So to see them make the call they made, if they had got it, yeah, we'd be talking about something else. But it just happens so often when you see people take chances on their own end of the field, it backfires.
And here's the thing, Kenny, they've got 244 they've got to kill.
White.
So they're going to get the ball back right now against the Liberty defense that's smelling blood in the water.
Right. And now do you try to throw it again because you're down 17? Or do you try to come out and just get your guys to the locker room so you can try to regroup? Because 17 points is still a surmountable lead that you can come back from.
Somewhat manageable.
Come out and make another mistake and give it right back. Now we're talking about night and the long ride back to Nevada.
Now this one, no doubt. You're watching live exclusive coverage of high school athletics. This is the Kern High Network. I'm Vance Palm, joined by my longtime partner, Kenny Calvin, BHS Renegade legend, Julian Wilson, our main man director, producer, basically overall good guy. Him and Kevin Willie keep us in check, or at least they try to keep us in line. Rick Van Horn last night.
Coach.
We had a great time calling that game, and I got there last night. The entire table was just covered with copious notes. He had them taped up all over the table. He was ready to go.
Coach Van Horn, one of the greatest football minds.
Snap, passes away.
Oh, and almost a one-hand grab.
So the answer to your question, yes, they are going to come out and keep firing. And it was intended out there for Nate Penny. He almost made a great grab, but 2nd and 10, just like that, 2:37, so only about 6 seconds went off the clock for the Cougars.
Yeah, and we haven't seen a lot of Spanish Springs, so we don't know much of their style of play except for what we've seen. They have come out pretty aggressive, taking shots vertically. They had some success earlier, so you don't expect them to just fold and try to run every time. But
ball's on the ground. Here comes Bucky. And that ball was thrown, a dangerous play right there. So, boy, Bucky is all over J.J. Dane right now. And he's like, man, is anybody going to block number 72? I'm running every play from this guy. Right. So, Bucky's going up against Emmett Allen, the senior lineman on the right side. Bucky, you see there, big number 72 on the left side. He's headed to big things after this season.
And I can't keep hearing the Bucky name without shouting out my big bro, Jeff Bucky, who, he had a rough couple of years, man, but I'm so glad to hear he's doing well. Shout out to the Bucky family. Whoa, huge hit. And that's going to be 4th down, and they'll be punting back to the Liberty Patriots. And you expect Coach Nix to call a timeout right now. And you definitely want to do your best to try to keep this ball out of Kizzy's hands because we've seen what he can do if you kick it to him.
Well, the clock stops because Coach Nixon and his staff say, well, we'll take a timeout right now for sure. So Beckham Nilsson with that big hit. He had a pick 6 a few minutes ago, and then he just lowers the boom on a big hit right now. So, wow. So 31-14 is the score. If you're just getting to us, catch it to Friday Night Football. The game's been a lot closer than that, but then all of a sudden Liberty just got the can opener on it and just opened it up.
Yeah, and that's the tough thing about the game of football. You can be playing a perfect quarter, one mistake, a couple of penalties, and now you're on the lopsided end of one, but you still have time. It's definitely a situation for Spanish Springs to just punt the football and try to get to the half without giving up anything else. They did get the ball first coming out, so they'll punt right back to Liberty. So you don't want to give up any more points before you have to punt right back to them.
Spanish Springs in the punt formation with Krishan Kizzy back for the Patriots.
As we stated, Kizzy is a player to watch.
Krishan looking to do some damage here. Let's see how far they punt it. Do they punt it far? They do.
Mendes
And he wants it. Kizzy trying to do anything he can to get that football. He wanted that ball, but no dice.
I like it, too, because we challenge players as former coaches. Every punt that hits the ground, you owe me 50 push-ups. You should be catching every punt. Even if there's pressure, unless they kick it out of bounds or it's just way short, we don't want punts hitting the ground.
Your ears must have been burning last night. Twice Coach Van Horn said, oh, man, good thing Kenny's not here tonight. He would have been pretty fired up.
Man.
A couple of times that happened.
He's the first person to make me do the push-ups for the punts. That's where I got it from.
First and 10, exactly 2-minute mark. 17-point lead for the Patriots against the Cougars of Spanish Springs out of Sparks, Nevada.
And they've played well through the first half. They just run into some tough occurrences in the second quarter.
Ball is fired over to the side.
To the far sideline to Xander Chisholm.
And I believe that's Cole O'Brien back in there.
My mistake. That'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Cole O'Brien.
It's the luxury of having a lead. Sorry, V.
No, go for it, dude.
I was just saying it's a luxury of having a lead. You can continue to work your guys and give your quarterbacks an opportunity to see what they do best in the heat of real competition.
I'll guarantee both coaches, if either one in this position where they get opportunity to keep working on their plays, even up by 30, they're going to do it.
Yes, sir.
2nd and 10. O'Brien from the shot.
Oh, huge hit.
Pass is knocked loose by the defender.
Cashy.
And he going to cry in the call.
Intended for Jalen
Woo!
Hankins.
Hankins got hammered right there, and that was legal.
Cashy lowers the boom.
Boy, I'll tell you, I asked the young man earlier, who should we be watching, and he said Cashy. And Cashy has not disappointed. He's made some great catches. He's been blocking his tail off. He's had some great runs. But that was a huge hit across the middle.
A shout out to the Liberty coaches, head coach Brian Nixon, assisted by Rick Brogdon, Jared Norris, Jason Oliver, Eric Smith.
Huge opportunity for Spanish Springs.
David Jacobson, Clayton Madden, Mike Lewis, Russell Robertson, and Matt Akers.
11 assistant coaches for Coach Nixon.
Liberty
O'Brien
looking to take a shot.
Has a man. Wow. Had Harrison and Kizzy deep. And the ball just overthrown a hair, so we do get to see the muscle in O'Brien's arm, but that is going to bring up a 4th and 10. And how do you like them apples? The Cougars get another shot at it.
Great job by the Cougars defense playing inspired and not giving up on themselves. But ultimately, that's a ball that O'Brien's going to be crying over in film because he didn't have to do as much. As you hear the fireworks behind us.
Off they go.
Timeout. Spanish Springs.
Well, it's not 4th of July.
Final timeout.
They heard that Kenny Calvin was going to be here tonight. They say Kenny's going to be here.
Patriots 31, Spanish Springs 14.
1:41 to play in the second quarter.
From their own 40-yard line.
Timeout on the field.
So there was fireworks let off right behind us. I mean, literally right behind the wall. A couple of knuckleheads had some illegal fireworks and thought they would.
Yeah, that was a little too close for comfort right there.
A bit of a hush came over the crowd, rightfully so.
Right. Kern County has functioned as the illegal fireworks capital in moments.
Well, now, Julian, that smoke is not from the barbecue.
Being the dog dad of a Shih Tzu poodle, I hate those illegal fireworks.
Kenny, watch your language on the air, please. Watch your language on the air.
Hey, me and my Khaleesi hate those fireworks.
All right. A rare punt for the Patriots.
This is the first punt of the game, if I'm not mistaken.
Second for the Patriots. Low
Second,
snap.
okay.
That's a boomer right there. And, do they get it? And he goes into the end zone.
Oh,
And
he got lucky.
Metters was thinking they might get that at the 1 yard line, but it just took off. Really nice punt, and everybody letting them know that was a good one.
And has this been the longest 4 minutes you've ever seen?
You and I
4
have
possessions.
You and I have had some long ones.
Yeah, we've had some long ones. I forgot who I'm talking to. But it's interesting to see 4 possessions in this little time. But nonetheless, Spanish Springs doing a great job as a defense, giving themselves another shot. Let's see if they can do something with it without taking too much of a chance.
And so much of it plays into this week 0 game, knowing that this is early season. And if you're thinking about, if this was going to be late in if it's late in the season, the coaches are going to be making different decisions,
Right. But it goes back to the point we made earlier. This is an interstate rivalry game, so the rankings are important. You don't want to go back home with an L, so you definitely want to keep taking chances. You didn't drive 10 hours to come over here and just run the football when you're down 17.
That's a great point. Great point. So Dane still in.
That'll bring up second down for the Cougars.
And they get a 5-yard gain. 1:23 left in this first half. It's 31-14.
They come out in that trips open set. They're looking to still be aggressive, 2nd and 6. 1:23 remaining to play in the half.
Dane throws across the middle. Dropped right out of the hands of O'Neal.
I'll tell you why, because he saw that middle linebacker sitting in there, and he didn't want no parts of it. I wish I could get a number on that guy.
We have a Frontier High School student ID turned in.
Well, that was Beckham Nilsson. Beckham Nilsson had the pick 6 and a couple of big hits already, so that's who they don't want to get. That's who they want no part of.
They wanted no parts of Beckham Nilsson right there. They had the alligator on right there.
Well, they don't want a part of Grant Bucky right now on this 3rd and 6 either. Watch this left end right here.
Yeah, facing the double team, throw one.
Always. Oh, they make the connection out there. He goes out of bounds, so, yeah, it's pretty close.
By the skin of his teeth.
But now on a 4th and 6, they're going to have to punt the football.
Yeah, no, looks like we got another timeout by Liberty, of course. And once again, sometimes they're expecting you to pass in that 2-minute offense. Sneaking a draw screen in there somewhere sometimes helps you get past that pursuit and pass rush of guys like Bucky. I haven't seen many draws or screens from the Cougars.
Ball is touched at about the 37-yard line, so 63 seconds left here in the first half.
And I see Coach Nix taking a shot right here. He wants to continue to expand on this lead. You got amazing field position from the 35, and the clock stops with every first down. And they still have one timeout. So Spanish Springs, you played great defense the previous series. Let's see if you can do the same thing to kind of escape with minimal damage.
.103 left. And it'll be Jace Nixon back out. Strong left side right down there at the bottom right of your screen.
Yeah, trips open, and they roll that way.
Rolls out to his left side. Pass completed to the near sideline.
Like we said, they're being aggressive. They run that flood. They run the clearing route for the outside receiver and get that quick out by the inside receiver.
45-yard line with 55 seconds.
So Nixon to Mahankey. There's some football names in this town.
Man, nothing feels greater in moments than being able to highlight the history and the legacies being passed down by families.
Nixon looks
Oh,
out.
and it's picked off. Great job by the Stallion Springs DB, still on his feet. And a couple of blocks and he might go, but
Taken down right
nice job by Spanish Springs.
Hankins brings down O'Neal.
29, Jalen Hankins.
Aiden O'Neal, one of the players to watch.
So Nixon comes off to meet with head coach Nixon.
And that was definitely a situation where you see you have safety help over the top, but you're trying to squeeze it in. He just put a little bit too much air under that ball and allowed that safety to cover that ground. But there was definitely help over the top and on the inside. Nonetheless, 1st and 10 for the Cougars heading south.
J.J. Dane again in the shotgun for the Cougars. He stands at his own 45-yard line. Can they put something on the board towards the end of the first half? They go for it. They toss it up, and
Pass.
it was intended out there for Penny.
Balls incomplete.
Yeah, fantastic job by the Spanish Springs Cougars defense.
Xander Chisholm and
You know,
Greg
just
Vetters.
continuing to
Up second down
be
with
aggressive,
3 seconds to
even
play.
though it's not popular. But their defense, stopping the Liberty team twice in a row on drives is rarely seen, too. You hardly ever see that.
That's another great point.
Consecutive stops on Liberty drives, I'd love to see that stat.
2nd and 10. Dane has a little bit of time, a little bit of space, throws underneath the coverage, and he gets it.
Pass completed to number 88, Preston Carroll.
That's going to be a first down. The clock should stop. 26 seconds to play,
Hurrying up to the line with 26 seconds
Preston
remaining in the
Carroll on the catch.
and they still have a first down. I mean, a timeout, I should say.
Bucky chasing him down again.
Dane
Wow.
goes out to his left side.
Slides.
Slides to the first down marker.
Man, how about seeing Bucky coming after you while he's being triple
They
teamed?
have a timeout. Are they going to call it or no?
Right, they have a timeout on the board, and why they don't call it, I have no idea.
They don't call it. I thought they may try to go for a field goal or something.
And the snap
Yeah, so-
recovered by the Patriots.
Yeah, so maybe the board was wrong, and they don't have one, but ultimately that's a bonehead play by the coaching staff of Spanish Springs as they go to the half with a timeout on the board.
31-14 the score at Liberty High School. You're watching the Kern High Network. We're going to take a break. When we return, third quarter action. Liberty up 31-14 on a warm Friday night. Back with a third quarter.
We all come from different backgrounds and practice different traditions, but we belong to one humanity. At Valley Strong Credit Union, we care deeply about the communities where we live and serve. That's why over the past 80 years, we've donated and invested millions of dollars into various partnerships, nonprofits, and businesses in Kern County. And as we continue to grow, we remain rooted here in our community. Valley Strong. Grow your possibilities.
It's wicked cool. It's our new aviation class. It gives kids a chance to break into the industry. There's a lot of careers in aviation. This class is a lot more than just flying planes.
We've learned so much already. We've learned how to take off. We've learned instrument flight rules. It's something everyone can do, I think.
Good. And you see, remember that horizon? Try to keep it parallel to your cockpit. After the 2-year program, they're going to be able to take the knowledge test for their private pilot exam. I am a pilot. I've been in Bakersfield for 10 years. I worked as an instructor for 6 years and then became a corporate pilot. And I'm a teacher here. We have amazing equipment. Even flight schools don't have that much equipment.
You put a class like this somewhere at North High, and it's really preparing kids to succeed because it gives them a whole new set of opportunities they never knew that they had the chance to pursue. I'm proud to say that I'm from North High School and that we have administration that's willing to put the money into offering really, really neat programs like this and preparing kids to succeed.
A lot of more hands-on activities, a lot more about woodworking and what to do, how to make a career for myself.
It's not only for guys. I am actually learning how to make cupboards and put everything together, like doors, cabinets. It's really fun, actually.
Yeah, well, it's really amazing to see their growth over the course of a year and how they can come in with no real skill at all and leave being able to actually produce furniture and cabinetry.
Houses need cabinets, businesses. Having a pool of resources or kids that have some knowledge in the industry would be real good.
Pull down on that. Let's slide these up. Watch fingers.
It's changed a lot. What I'm seeing here is what it's going towards. The CNC equipment, computers. I could actually build cabinets out of this shop. It's state of the art. It really is.
I am constantly looking for students that have been through these programs. It's always nice to have a person that has some experience. It's a lot easier to train. I think we're fortunate in Bakersfield that the Kern High School District has invested in a program like this. I would encourage other businesses to partner up with the Kern High School District like I've done here, because this really shows you what can be done if business comes together with the Kern High School District.
This is where we're going to train the kids to actually get jobs in the industry. We're going to give them the basic tools that they need, also the skills that they need to understand where they fit into the industry.
All the animated things, because we have everything that we need in the scenes.
They are learning the principles of animation, Photoshop. They're learning how to animate in 2D and 3D. And when you swap to that shape, then you're just going to drag these over here.
The storyboard aspect of creating basically the skeleton of the story, and then just sort of directing people in my vision of what I want in the story. And it's also giving me the advantage of Mr. Pollard, since he's worked at so many companies, being able to put it in my resume and be like, this is the art direction I've received.
I was shearing my lamb for fair. I have 2 lambs.
This lamb is stubborn.
Taking care of animals is you feed them twice a day, make sure they have water, walk them, make sure they're ready for fair.
Vet science is the first year before you can actually go into animal science, and it's a lot of like hands-on with the different animals, and you get to learn different things such as giving shots, castrating, all that fun stuff. For me, wanting to be a vet when I'm older, it helped prepares me. All the stuff that I'm learning in ag is definitely going to help me.
I'm in ag communications. Anything that you see on the Facebook page is what we do, and pictures, and we do all the posters that are around campus, anything that just promotes ag.
Our students are all part of the FFA organization, and through that we have a chapter officer team. We do monthly chapter meetings because we're trying to get them involved outside of class. So they can find something that they're interested in, and they need something that's going to hook them so that they're ready for life after high school.
In animal care, the students learn a variety of things, whether it's tools or terms. In the veterinary field, they learn about the skeletal systems, the animal nutrition, the housing, how to properly care for them. They also have the opportunity in the spring to actually go work at a veterinary hospital or at an animal shelter or a grooming salon.
Animal restraint, weight and temperature, pulse, respiration, all of that I learned here.
They take a state certified test, and if they pass, they become a certified vet assistant right out of high school.
It's always hands-on, and so I think that's what really helps us, is that we're not just getting it from a textbook, we're actually doing these things, and we're actually practicing these things that we'll be doing in our future careers.
It's wicked cool. It's our new aviation class. It gives kids a chance to break into the industry. There's a lot of careers in aviation. This class is a lot more than just flying planes.
We've learned so much already. We've learned how to take off. We've learned instrument flight rules. It's something everyone can do, I think.
Good. And you see, remember that horizon? Try to keep it parallel to your cockpit. After the 2-year program, they're going to be able to take the knowledge test for their private pilot exam. I am a pilot. I've been in Bakersfield for 10 years. I worked as an instructor for 6 years and then became a corporate pilot. And I'm a teacher here. We have amazing equipment. Even flight schools don't have that much equipment.
You put a class like this somewhere at North High, and it's really preparing kids to succeed because it gives them a whole new set of opportunities they never knew that they had the chance to pursue. I'm proud to say that I'm from North High School and that we have administration that's willing to put the money into offering really, really neat programs like this and preparing kids to succeed.
We're in manufacturing engineering. We design parts, 3D parts, 2D parts, we create assemblies.
It's helping me get training in all of this stuff, like the computer programs that we have here, the machines that we have here. We learn a lot of math in here, mostly geometry and fractions, because I love math. That's why I'm in this class.
Mr. Lemmy, he's a great instructor.
So the problem is this piece itself.
He really goes hands-on with us. He helps us as much as we can. We've learned a lot from him.
Right now we're supplying students that are skilled in the safety, the basic operation of machine work, and then they also leave with some soft skills. They understand they have to be on time. They understand that they have to get up and talk to people. Most of them are walking out of here with a solid foundation in the entry level of a trade.
They can have a job anywhere they go because they have a basic understanding of what it's going to take to put products out that people are going to use.
Hopefully this is a good career for me. You know, end up doing something good, have a good life, and make some money.
Well, we're learning a lot, and especially with just the basic knowledge of what you would need for an entry-level job.
All the basic skills to be a medical assistant in a doctor's office or a clinic.
You're leaning on it, and that'll make a difference.
And then they also do on-the-job training, and they work in doctor's offices or clinics throughout Kern County. The kids are job ready, and many of them are employed before the end of the school year. They're promised a job, as well as they continue their education. We have many registered nurses out there and even physicians.
I'm thinking I want to be an anesthesiologist. So a lot of school, but it'll be worth it in the end. Right now we're learning the different roles, what a game designer is, what they do, and how video games are made, and how to deconstruct them.
We're also going to be teaching the hard skills, which includes learning the Unreal Engine. And what the Unreal Engine is it's a game development tool that students will be able to use to make their very own video games. And this is something that actually industry professionals use every day to make some of the top-selling games. They're all the same size. You're all on the same plane. There's no undulating terrain or anything like that.
Our instructor, he's really amazing. He encourages everybody. He's really fun, and he makes learning fun.
So they've got top-of-the-line computers here, and they're set up to excel. I would be surprised if other students their age coming out of high school would have anywhere near the level of expertise that these guys are going to have.
A lot of more hands-on activities, a lot more about woodworking and what to do, how to make a career for myself.
It's not only for guys. I am actually learning how to make cupboards and put it together, like doors, cabinets. It's really fun, actually.
Yeah, well,
It's really amazing to see their growth over the course of a year and how they can come in with no real skill at all and leave being able to actually produce furniture and cabinetry.
Houses need cabinets, businesses having a pool of resources or kids that have some knowledge in the industry would be real good.
Pull down on that. Let's slide these up. Watch fingers.
It's changed a lot. What I'm seeing here is what it's going towards. The CNC equipment, computers. I could actually build cabinets out of this shop. It's state of the art. It really is.
I am constantly looking for students that have been through these programs. It's always nice to have a person that has some experience. It's a lot easier to train. I think we're fortunate in Bakersfield that the Kern High School District has invested in a program like this. I would encourage other businesses to partner up with the Kern High School District like I've done here, because this really shows you what can be done if business comes together with the Kern High School District.
We all come from different backgrounds and practice different traditions, but we belong to one humanity. At Valley Strong Credit Union, we care deeply about the communities where we live and serve. That's why over the past 80 years, we've donated and invested millions of dollars into various partnerships, nonprofits, and businesses in Kern County. And as we continue to grow, we remain rooted here in our community. Valley Strong. Grow your possibilities.
your feet for the kickoff as your Liberty Patriots get ready to receive the second half kickoff.
You can hear through the ambient sound of the public address announcer. We're about ready to go here. Third quarter, it's 31-14, and Spanish Springs kicks off to Liberty.
Oh. Man, if he had broke outside to the right, he might still be running VP, but nonetheless, it's going to be 1st and 10 for Liberty on a 29, maybe the 30.
Kenny, your thoughts on the first half?
I was just very impressed by Spanish Springs continuing to find ways to keep themselves in the game after Liberty kind of exploded in the second quarter. They got lucky not giving up any more points after the devastating interception that we called. But nonetheless, very impressed by Spanish Springs on both sides of the football. They started off very well early, and they weathered the storm through the second quarter to still kind of be in the football game. Now, this is a big drive, having to give the ball right back to Liberty, and that's a great job by that defensive line on first down.
5, 11, and number 50.
Well, Jared Quinza with a huge hit. Jared Quinza got in there and just stopped at everything. Nixon starts the third quarter in the quarterback spot for the Patriots. Wants to throw.
Oh, that rocket screen has been money all day.
Chisholm's still on his feet.
And of course, we probably got some listeners saying, hey, why is he talking about the out-of-town team? They're getting their butts kicked. Well, we expected them to get their butts kicked. But nonetheless, we expected Liberty to be a lot more crispy than they were in the first quarter. So let's see if they can come out in the second half and play a little bit better brand of football.
I get it. I totally know where you're coming from. 3rd and 3, the Patriots pick it up.
And they mark it a first down. So first down, Patriots.
Trips open set against a single high safety look. Hankins on the ground, and that's a power sweep, and he's still running.
Takes the ball around the left side.
Tackle for a short gain.
Grant Bucky. It'll be second down, Patriots.
Bucky plays on the left side of the offensive line, left side of the defensive line. Left tackle on O. Left defensive end on D.
Oh.
Ball's bobbled by Nixon. And then he fires one over to Trey Fulton. And they hooked up earlier for a touchdown, but incomplete.
Yeah, anytime you drop a snap on a quick screen, rocket screen, something like that, it's just going to disrupt the timing. They're lucky to get out of that with just an incomplete pass, because that looked like that was a disaster.
Coach Nixon gives young Nixon the play call. He runs it in. Jace is a junior. It's also a tight end.
3rd and 10. Huge opportunity for Spanish Springs. They've done a great job on 3rd and long so far.
Just underway, third quarter. Nixon looks, tosses one down the sidelines, has his man. Oh, almost caught by Fulton again. Nice coverage out there by Christopher Shakespeare.
Wow.
And the ball still almost lands in the hands of Fulton.
Christopher Shakespeare, name of the century. But great job by him getting his head around and ultimately trying to play the ball at the highest point.
Yeah, you're right.
Getting in the path and the flight of the ball, as we referred to earlier. And that's another stop by the Spanish Springs Cougars, giving their team an opportunity to still be in it, down 17.
Low snap, Penny back by himself, and he went down on his knee to get it.
Oh, my goodness. And that's why the defender, who could have blocked the punt, stopped, because he saw him go on his knee. I almost said, why is he hesitating? The punter went down to do his knee to catch the ball, and that's going to be 1st and 10, Spanish Springs.
So Coach Lewis wants to talk to Metters and say, do you think maybe you could have one-hopped it without going down? Metters probably will respond, look, Coach, I just didn't want it to get by me. So it's one of those tough breaks. He goes down to get it. His knee hits the grass in high school. That's it. So, boy, if you're Coach Hummel, that's pretty much what the doctor ordered right there.
Yeah, and also pretty much is what's going to have Coach Nix blowing the top.
No question.
As that happens, on the first drive of the second half when you're trying to put a team away.
Yeah, not the best start. And then on top of that, let's see what happens.
Dane takes the snap, hands it off to Logan
And I like
Franklin.
that.
Trying to find
I like them getting back to trying to run the football. You can't just drop back and throw the football every down against a Liberty Coast team.
Well, you don't want to be down 38-14.
All right.
And then 45-14.
Yeah, take advantage of this great field position. Try to get some positives to build on. And now we have another injury on the sideline.
One of their big fellas is down, Logan Franklin, and he's a workhorse, Kenny. Remember earlier in the game tonight, he ran the ball like 6 straight times.
Oh, yeah, he had some nice runs.
With no huddle.
Yeah, and that goes to the point that we talked about earlier. Spanish Springs has called a nice game. We're right next to the coaching staff. They're in the booth right adjacent to us to the right. It's definitely never awkward for us because we call it how we see it. We say it how it is. But they're doing a fantastic job of figuring out ways to stay balanced. And they're still in this football game if they can get a score right here.
Tell me about this gentleman here walking in front of you. Tell me about this man.
Well, this young man walking in front of
Young,
me.
wait, I say young. Tell the truth,
Hey,
Kenny.
we still got it, man. It's one of my kindergarten partners right here, Eddie Jackson, one of my fastest teammates. Of all my teammates I ever had, definitely my brother more than a friend, man. Honored to see this dude out here putting in work for the Kern High.
So he's telling you half-truths. Fastest, but not young. Not young. I mean,
Eddie was the fast. I want to say Eddie and Steve were the fastest players on my team when I was a senior. Yes, Steve and Eddie, two of my state championship track teammates as well. But lightning fast, man. I was smart. I was a smart football player. These dudes was lightning fast.
What you trying to say?
Yeah, I was the Charles Woodson before Charles, or right around the same time.
And Eddie was Darryl Green.
Eddie had lightning fast speed, man.
Eddie's with the Kern High School District, one of the consummate professionals here at these outdoor events, and a staple and a name and a face synonymous with all these great athletic events here at the Kern High School District. Great to see you, buddy. Great to see you.
Absolutely.
The flag was waved on that play. We were waiting for the explanation of the call.
It'll be 3rd and 3, Spanish Springs.
Okay, so Spanish Springs right now, the Cougars on a big third down right here. They need to pick this third down, get it, keep the sticks moving. They were given a gift on the punt attempt by the Liberty Patriots when Metters had to go down. Oh, they waved it off. Now they moved it back.
Wow.
Excuse me?
Well, since they going back and forth, the one thing I was always frustrated with Eddie about was he was my BHS teammate, but he was supposed to be my Renegade teammate, but he took a year off and waited till after I left to come to play with the Renegades. This dude was supposed to be with me up there winning a couple championships.
He'd had enough of you.
The truth has come out.
Well, Kenny, they waved it off, but then they marched it back. You can hear the coaching staff to our right saying, whoa, what's the explanation? Now the guys are going to get together and have a quick chit-chat.
Right, and all our listeners are probably like, why is Kenny and Vance talking about everything but football? Because they ain't playing yet, guys.
Well, and it was poised to be a 3rd and 3, Kenny, and so now all of a sudden they've moved it back to a 3rd and 10 at a crucial part of this football game for the Cougars. They needed that 3rd and 3, but now it's not.
Yeah, and that's definitely got to have you frustrated as a Spanish Springs coach when you see a flag being waved off. Liberty's had 2 waved off tonight. They still waiting to get one of theirs waved off.
Here's maybe an explanation.
Illegal formation on the offense.
Okay.
5-yard penalty remains, 2nd down.
So what the confusion may have been, they probably wanted to wave off what would have been a false start. But once you line up in that illegal formation, they can call that as a pre-snap penalty.
Thank you. 2nd and 10 now instead of 3rd and 3, so they get the down back. Dane in the shotgun. Has some protection for a second. Bucky.
Great job stepping up.
Dane rolls. He made his run it. And what great pursuit out there. Again, that is Beckham Nilsson. Beckham Nilsson is a force. absolutely a force out there.
I'm going to tell you what I like most about that play, VP. It was his discipline.
Right.
He was the spy. He had to stay there and be patient and waited, not losing contain.
And still put the hit on him.
And still put the hit on him. Amazing discipline job by that linebacker.
Well, he's got a pick 6 tonight already and a couple of big hits.
Sounding like player of the game to me.
3rd and 8. Fortunes have changed for the Cougars. Slip sliding away, throws it out.
It's picked off.
Almost picked off by Trey Fulton. Fulton had a shot at it. It got through his hands, and it falls incomplete. So now they're in that dead zone as far as what they're going to do. The ball is at the 28-yard line. It would be about a 45-yard field goal, and they're going to go for the 45-yarder.
And I like seeing this because high school kickers are underappreciated. They do such a great job keeping people in games. If they can make this kick, this cuts it to a 2-score game, 14 points. You definitely want to get something out of this great field position that they've had.
They have everybody there. The kicker is Michael Mendez, but the Patriots also far enough back in case it is a fake. Mendez, and it is good.
Amazing kick by the young man in Spanish Springs, playing some quality football after traveling miles and miles to the heart of the Central Valley. They're still in this football game.
What a kick. 9:32 remains in the 3rd quarter, and Michael Mendez with a solid 4-iron. That was good.
Right, and people are probably saying, why y'all keep pumping these kickers up? Can't you see? That's 2 huge kicks by both of these guys so far.
Pre-game, we saw it from both sides of the football field. We saw both kickers really banging some long field goals in pre-game. Okay. A lot of football left here. What time is it, 3 a.m.? 10:22. Well, I hope my boys have decided what they're going to have for dinner and that they've eaten it and it's over with.
Man, while we got a quick dead ball, shout out to our other partner, Titan Tom Myers, joining the Renegades as taking Carl Bryant's spot. Had a chance to hang out with one of the greatest voices in football, my guy, Titan Tom.
Tom, thanks for the text. Looking forward to being up at Memorial Stadium. I'm going to come check out a few games this year and listen in to hear Tom on the PA.
And Jalen Hankins.
My man Kenny and his new partner. And this is into the end zone.
And that'll bounce into the end zone for a touchback. Liberty will take over 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line.
So 9.5 remains. A 31-17 lead. And Kenny, I think it goes without saying the Patriots need to get off to a good start here in this series.
Absolutely, because 4 out of the last 5 drives, the Spanish Springs defense has stopped them from getting first downs and moving the chains, which has allowed them to stay in this football game. So if you're Knicks, I don't want to say you're going to be impatient. You expect them to come out and be balanced, but don't be surprised if you see them take a shot.
All right. It's O'Brien. O'Brien flicks one out here to the near side.
Nice move by Hankins.
And Hankins.
Tackles and is pushed out of bounds around the 37-yard line.
Well, I don't know about you, partner, but that little combo right there, they know each other well. They've got it. They've got that symbiotic mental relationship, and he puts it in his hands quickly and lets him do the rest. And Hankins, when he's got a little bit of a head start, he is dangerous.
Oh, yeah, and he resembles his dad so much. His dad was an amazing athlete. Played with me on the Compton Oilers football team, Jack Frost, but went on to East High. And though East High wasn't remembered as a traditional football powerhouse back then, he was an amazing athlete playing with Brady Batten as a sophomore and being one of their most explosive weapons on a somewhat bad football team.
Cameron Dangerfield in the backfield.
Great play in the backfield as well.
Cameron Dangerfield.
A really nice play by Logan Franklin, so good to see Franklin back up.
Yeah, it'll bring up 3rd down.
Good to see Logan Franklin back in there, number 5 for the Cougars. He was banged up a little earlier.
Amazing play by Dangerfield in the backfield. Wonder if he's kin to Rodney.
I was going to say he probably is thinking he's not getting a lot of respect back there.
Not a lot of respect. Well, I'll tell you. Shotgun double set. Single high safety. We showing our age now, VP.
That was good, Kenny. That was good.
It's one of my favorite comedians of all time. Uh-oh, nice move by Dangerfield. Gets outside. Great blocking on the edge.
I don't get any respect. I make a great run and my helmet pops off. I got to come off the field. I can't even stay on the field after a long run.
Man, amazing run.
For you much younger viewers out there, just Google the last name. You don't have to put a first name. Just Google Dangerfield.
One of the greatest coaches of all time on TV as well. With the Ladybugs. They don't know nothing about that, VP. Let's get back to football. 2nd and 6 for Liberty, and they coming out. Somewhat balanced. Short passing game, swing route to get some yards earlier. A lot of draws and screens. Trips open set right now.
O'Brien in the shotgun. Wants to throw. Screen play.
Completes the swing pass to Makai Duluth.
And Duluth.
Ooh, way to finish the run, young man.
You know, you got Hankins at 5'8", 177. Duluth at 5'10", 193.
Thunder and Lightning?
Pretty much.
Tackle on the play by Connor North.
And now it's Hankins back in. Under 7 to go in the third quarter. Looked like a broken play, possibly.
O'Brien fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, taken down by.
Yeah, definitely looked like back went opposite, but great job by the QB just getting forward. You know, and Liberty is doing a great job keeping that momentum and tempo going. Cougars a little bit off balance right now.
O'Brien's pass to the left side, completed.
How about this?
And Ermiah Harrison will take it in for a Liberty touchdown.
Ermiah Harrison, quiet all night, scores a big-time TD. What a great pass.
But look how they did it, VP. It wasn't something trying too much and trying too hard. All of those throws were short, intermediate throws, giving guys an opportunity to make plays after the catch. Little yak right there. And I ain't talking Hennessy.
We have an official's timeout.
What a banged-up Patriot down there in the far right corner, and it might be the touchdown. It is the touchdown grabber.
I'd love to see the yards after catch, you know, for our listeners who wonder what I'm talking about when I say yak. Yards after the catch has been huge tonight because they've run that rocket screen probably like 9 times.
You're right. You're right. The snap, the hold, the kick. And it's good.
And the kick is up and good, and that makes the score Liberty 38.
VP, there was a young man that played up at the Palace of Panorama, ran the rocket screen to perfection. He ended up doing some pretty great things after he left Bakersfield College. His name was Brandon Banks. Ended up being one of the Canadian Football League's all-time leading receivers, and it started with the rocket screen.
Brandon Banks.
That dude was lightning fast.
Now, we have some guys to talk about here as the season unfolds. Our man Cam Smith.
Cam Smith.
He brought a youngster up there with him to join the Husky Nation.
Oh, you talking about Cam Williams?
Yeah, sorry, Cam Williams. Sorry, I'm thinking golf. Sorry, I got golf on my mind. Cam Williams.
Right. So I was trying to find the Smith. I was like, okay, Cam Williams.
You know, the dude from Australia that won the British Open.
Well, it's interesting that you bring up Cam because I saw a great story on him during the offseason. It talked about how hard it was for players to stay focused with coaching rumors and all the stuff that goes on behind closed doors. And to see players that play at the level he plays at half subpar years, you always wonder what's going on behind the scenes, and it doesn't come out during the season. You always find out later. But we're rooting for Cam to have a great year, and there'll be another driller following in his footsteps.
Yep.
Whew. Speaking of drillers, boy, what happened?
Yeah, we're hearing. You talk about coaching rumors.
And Grant's kick sails into the back of the end zone for another touchback.
We were hearing some scoring rumors.
Right.
We were hearing some scoring rumors earlier in.
Oh, I was hoping it was rumors. Oh my goodness.
But now we're finding out that it's not a scoring rumor. That the BHS Drillers got it handed to them tonight up north.
Whew, boy, don't even say it out loud. Oh, my goodness. That's tough, boy. I don't even want to hear it out loud again. I couldn't believe it.
I've been shut down.
No, go ahead. Let him know.
I believe, I'm thinking
it was
a
massacre.
56-3. Is that what they said? Is that what they said?
It was a massacre up there. That's, toughest thing for new coaching staffs is just finding the rhythm. Count on the drillers finding themselves. And I guarantee you, Buchanan, if you see him again, it won't happen twice. Let's talk about these Liberty Patriots. This defense doing a great job, but how about the character drive of the offense of the Patriots just to go right back and get those points back after the Cougar field goal?
Got officials, timeout.
Shafter and West High School having a nice one tonight.
Looks like we got a timeout on the field for an injured Liberty Patriot. It's been a tough game tonight from an injury perspective. With 6:11 to play in this third quarter, VP. There's a lot of time left, man. We might be spending the night.
Well, the good news is if we go past midnight, it's basically a 2-day salary. So we get double pay. Hopefully the boss isn't listening. Kenny, what'd you do this summer? Try to keep up with you on the social platform, but I always take a summer break from the social, so I didn't see everything. But I saw you got some good travel in.
Man, it was beautiful, man. I had an opportunity to hit Hawaii late spring. That was an amazing trip. But the work never stops.
Yeah.
So we had some great experiences with the magazine. I had an opportunity to do my first cover story.
And tell everybody what you're talking about.
Well, Sweet Life SoCal magazine, it's an LA-based magazine that hired me to cover the Rams from a sports perspective last year. But since then, they've given me the opportunity to cover a lot of other things. And wouldn't you know, I had an opportunity to cover this great director who's putting out all these films across the world. And he hooked me up with some legendary people, and that would be my man, Dr. Julian Wilson, that we featured as we see the fumble out there by Spanish Springs. But I had a chance to cover Julian as well through the spring, highlight some of his films, Kings of Freedom, Tuskegee Airmen, amazing project he had. And this guy surprises me by having a World War II general call my phone out of the blue and surprise. How you going to surprise me like that, having a hero call me?
Well, what's interesting about Julian, you'd never know the accolades that bestow him. He's such a humble guy, so that makes a lot of sense. Well, that's a fun, exciting summer, Kenny.
Definitely amazing summer, VP. Also enjoyed watching your kids blossom, making the beautiful decisions they've made in their careers and continuing to find the new careers for my young Bulls, getting ready to take the stage.
Hey, how about Rams opening the season against Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills?
Wow, talk about excitement.
That's a big-time game. Liberty Patriots defense doing what they have to do, and Kizzy's inside. He's inside the 50. He looks a little banged up, but I think that whatever cramp he's dealing with is going to wear off right when this ball is punted. Oh, he's got a chance.
Oh,
he's got a chance.
Shot.
Takes it at the 44-yard line. They backed him up. He's looking for some good blocking. He might get it. He outruns that defender.
We told you he was special. Across the 5. Touchdown, Kizzy, as he shouts out the cameraman. He's one of the most explosive athletes in the central section, and that's our first time seeing him in open field since the first quarter. Touchdown, Patriots.
to play as Grant Metters will come on up for the PAT.
Did I not tell you that somehow that cramp he was dealing with was going to disappear?
You called
the
that.
moment that ball got punted. That cramp went away real quick.
VP, you got your call.
Gone. Kizzy into the end zone. Gone. He had a nice block early in that sequence. No flags. And he had something to say for the coaches as he crossed the goal line.
And right on cue, like you called it, VP, he limped his way to the spot, only to trot off for a 55-yard punt return. Right on cue. Liberty Patriots up 45-17, 4:24 to play in the third quarter. Something about Spanish Springs' body language in that drive right there. It was almost like they conceded after giving up that previous touchdown to Liberty, and it's like, oh, all right, we played pretty good. Now it looked like they came off the pedal. You got to find that intensity because you still got time. But one more stop, and it's going to be ugly.
Well, Coach Nixon started coming in with thunder and lightning, and it was Duluth, Hankins, Duluth, and it just started to wear him down.
Yeah, and that's that balance that we talked about. It's not going to be one guy that beats you for a Liberty team. You have to be thinking on all levels. And they did that from a few drives. They go the swing right to the running back out of the backfield. Then they go the quick draws in the inside. Then they go to 2 rocket screens from the opposite directions from the outside. Yeah. You never know which way they're going to hit you. Then they go with the quarterback keeper. He keeps it and keeps it inside. Very balanced offense by multiple players. It's not just one number that you can key on, and that's a dangerous football team when you're facing that.
The last time I saw Liberty in person was up at Memorial Stadium last year in the first round of the state playoffs. And, well, you talk about a dominating performance. They looked fantastic up there at Memorial Stadium. I was watching that with our man Stan Green and a couple of other well-established football cronies, and it was a great showing by the Patriots.
Oh, yeah, and how about the history and tradition of high school football returning to Memorial Stadium? It's been a while since we've had an opportunity to watch some of the better high school football teams play in our Palace on Panorama. So definitely exciting, great year, but I know he's feeling a lot better about how they're playing in this second half compared to how that first quarter started.
Sails into the end zone for a touchback. It will be 1st and 10 Cougars from their own 20-yard line.
So 4:24 remaining in the third quarter here. A lot of football left. Julian, you don't even have a watch and you looked at your wrist. That's bad. That's bad when you don't even have a watch and you look at your wrist.
It's skin 30.
Timeout, please.
Well, like we expected, Liberty started off slow. As we stated, they're going to find their rhythm. As you stated, thunder and lightning last drive. But just a lot of dynamic play calling, but very balanced and not overdoing it, not taking a whole lot of dangerous shots, doing simple things to move the chains. Sometimes people overcomplicate things. My head coach in college, the great Jimmy Red Parker, former assistant on the 1981 Clemson national championship team, and coached under Ford in Arkansas. He had 12 plays in this playbook from an offensive perspective as a Veer coach, and we hated it as defensive players. But when you have a successful system with the right players, it can be very successful. You don't need a 30-play playbook to beat guys if you do the right things the right way. Some of these playbooks have 200 plays. You know, a lot of those old school coaches, man, it's just about putting a hat on the hat and moving bodies. And that's what Liberty did in the last drive.
An extended long timeout on the field.
First and 10. Cougars heading north. Got to see if they can get back some of that confidence they had. They played very well from an offensive perspective in multiple spots throughout the game. Let's see if they can get some of that rhythm back. Down 8. 28.
They start on the ground.
Whoa.
You see that?
Yes. Bodies flying in there.
Anthony Juarez came in
75 Max Juarez with the ball.
and tossed one of the Cougars down to the grass. Pretty
one-hand toss.
Yeah, a pretty effortless play there for as much weight as he was throwing around. Picked up 3, 2nd and 7. Tate Hummel back in.
Man coverage for Liberty.
Hummel bootleg to the left. He's a southpaw, and he's in trouble. Can't get rid of it. Cannot get rid of the football.
Yeah, one thing you have to understand as a quarterback, when you run a play-action pass, you only have one read after the play action.
You're right.
You don't have an opportunity to continue to go through your progressions after a play action. You've already wasted 2 seconds. You have to make the first read, get rid of the football. Unfortunate. 3rd and long.
The bootleg was to his strong side. He ran to his left as a lefty.
It's 3rd and long.
Pistol doubles formation.
Hummel's in the shotgun.
More of a spread look against that man look in 30 even front.
Hummel throws one up, has his guy. Just overthrows him. Just over the outstretched fingertips.
Yeah, and he would have had to put that right on the line. Good coverage underneath, good coverage on top, and the Liberty defense pays dividends, forcing the punt. I'm seeing some amazing T-shirts by these kids right here. I see one in front of me that says, "Hate is a virus." Amazing T-shirt by this young man. And the next person that comes to sit down right next to him, not even with him, has a shirt that says, "Be kind for everyone you meet. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle, and you know nothing about."
I saw that. Very impressive. Well, another timeout, unfortunately. So on a 4th and 10, another timeout taken. And that will stretch our evening a little bit further, Julian.
2:42 to play in the 3rd quarter. It's been a long one. I promise we want to talk about X's and O's, but with timeouts and stoppages of play, you got to deal with VP and KC. But the atmosphere is beautiful tonight here at Liberty. Home side of the stadium's packed out. You even got some traveling visitors, which is a beautiful thing.
That's a long haul.
When you got a long haul, but beautiful facilities at Liberty. I'm so jealous watching the high school team play with a live feed on the Jumbotron behind them. Only film I got of my games is on VHS tape. These kids are spoiled nowadays. What is a VHS tape? Right. I had to explain what a VHS tape was to my kids as I tried to pull out highlight tape.
4th and 10. Will they punt it to Kizzy? They do.
They do. Why?
He's going to have to backtrack quickly. Let's look at blocking.
Uh-oh.
Kizzy looking for some
Kizzy, back to back. Another punt return to the house. And I told you the young man is special. Kershawn Kizzy, one of the most explosive athletes I watched all last year. And he's definitely putting on the show tonight with his 2nd punt return to the house, VP.
Well, I asked the question, would they punt it to him? And it left the foot. And it went right to him, actually. He didn't have to move that far to get it.
I mean, it was one of the first things we talked about early was just how explosive he is and what he's going to do if he gets a chance. Definitely good to see if you're a Patriots fan. Not so good if you came from out of town. Nonetheless, 51-17, and there's still a lot of football to be played. Kizzy.
Lewis with the hold,
has the 55-yarder and the 65-yarder.
That makes it 52-17 Liberty as we get ready to kick the ball away.
And you do that 2 more times in the season, you're looking at All-American status.
Earlier in the game, we saw that he was hankering for one. He wanted one. He was sniffing one. He was trying to get one. He was setting himself up. He was actually trying to go pick up balls off the ground after they'd already landed. He wanted to run one so bad. Then he got one earlier here in the third quarter. And then we wondered, will they punt to him again? Will they actually kick it to him again? They did, and they pay the price. But hats off to the punt return team and how well they've done setting up that wall.
Right. Amazing point, VP, because he's made one move inside both times and then comes out to a perfect wedge. It's definitely how you coach it up, and it hardly ever happens that way. Nonetheless, another score for Liberty, and it's starting to finally seem like they're getting oiled up. So we're sorry for the silence, guys, but let's see if the Cougars can give us something to talk about. As midway through that third quarter, you kind of saw the body language of Spanish Springs just kind of leave after Liberty got that score after their field goal. But the beauty of early football as the kickoff goes into the end zone is that the coaches for Spanish Springs are just going to continue to look at every rep as a practice opportunity to continue to get better. Because this is just their preseason game. Yeah, you want to win every game, but it's not important to your league situation or your conference situation. So ultimately, you want to take some things back to Nevada that you can capitalize on for the future.
2:26, 35-point lead right now for the Patriots, as the Cougars will come back out. An entire quarter of football left.
Yeah, Liberty's defense has done a lot better job keeping things in front of them. They didn't start off very well. They gave up some deep throws. They got beat over the top with the fade. They got beat over the top on the inside in the seam route. Since then, we haven't seen any balls being caught down the field. I haven't seen anything past 10 to 12 yards. But you got to protect to be able to do that, and they haven't done that very well either.
J.J. Dane back in, starting quarterback, out to the right side, ball dropped.
And the pass intended for the wide receiver falls incomplete.
We are on running clock now.
Yes, we are.
Oh, well, it was for a second, then they stopped it.
Oh.
The pass was dropped, and the clock continued to tick, so I thought we were on running clock. What is the number on running clock, 35?
I believe it is 35. Maybe someone needs to give them a cue. Nonetheless, Spanish Springs doing the smart thing and trying to run the football because, like I said, when you're on the lopsided end of a game like this, you don't want to continue to drop back and just throw the football every down. Because now you're starting to put your premier players in a position to get hurt as these defensive linemen and linebackers are continuing to tee off because they know what you're going to do at this point.
Exactly.
Nonetheless, 3rd and 7, important 3rd and 7 for Spanish Springs. Shotgun double set. Nice job with the play. Oh, nice coverage on the outside.
Broken up. I think that's Esparza.
Amazing defense on the outside.
But Joshua Esparza.
Number 22, Josh Esparza.
You know, and what I was trying to say before the snap is that, hey, when you've been getting so much pressure, you got to try to do things with the snap count to try to delay these guys and start throwing those quick screens because there's no time. You can't throw the ball down the field. You know, unfortunately, it just seems like a situation where now the reality is starting to set in. Oh, and now the snap is botched. Oh, and it's blocked. And that's going to be a nice situation for Liberty. And when it rains, it pours for Spanish Springs.
Ball came loose.
And that snap is kind of one of the issues that hasn't been talked about that has contributed to poor punt coverage, because they've had so much trouble with the snap that he's just trying to kick it when he gets it.
He was trying to get rid of it.
Yeah, he can't focus on where Kizzy is. He's just trying to punt the football. But when you have those snap issues, you know, it clouds all the timing. Nonetheless, 1st and 10 for the Patriots.
So things have gotten rough for the Cougars late here in the third quarter. 1:19 remains. It's a 52-17 score.
Man, and if you're Spanish Springs, you come out, you score on the first drive,
Tyler Rich hands the ball.
you're feeling good.
Caden Higby.
You definitely hope that things would have turned out a little bit different as the night goes on, but Liberty's just one of those football teams you can't make mistakes on, because they'll take advantage of every minor mistake.
And Kenny, Tyler Rich now, the senior quarterback, is in for the Patriots.
Great opportunity. And that's one of the things that me and Eddie J loved about playing on our driller teams. We loved getting up 40 and 50 plus to give our teammates an opportunity to get out there. You know, the guys that never get a shot, the guys that show up at practice every day and don't get these opportunities. So beautiful experience to see your third quarterback get in this early for the Patriots.
So Higby on the run, flag comes out, and I don't know if they're going to call Cashy for face mask, or will it be a holding call? Yeah, they got Cashy for a face mask.
Half the distance to the goal. First down.
And there's definitely been some bright spots for the Spanish Springs team as they've come out. Cashy's been one of them. And those are the things that you take from games like this in situations where you're on the wrong end of it. Who did things well? Who's continuing to play at a high level? The camera's always watching.
Right, right.
You know, as former recruiters who traveled the country, I'm looking for guys in these moments to see who's giving up and who's still playing.
Strong left side for Rich. Rich hands the ball off.
Oh, and they still
Higby.
moving forward.
And Higby grinds one down to about the 2-yard line.
Can't say enough about how the offensive line of Liberty brought a calm to their football team after some struggles early in the first quarter.
At the end of 3, 52-17, Liberty really taking care of business. We'll be back with the fourth quarter on the Kern High Network.
We all come from different backgrounds and practice different traditions, but we belong to one humanity. At Valley Strong Credit Union, we care deeply about the communities where we live and serve. That's why over the past 80 years, we've donated and invested millions of dollars into various partnerships, nonprofits, and businesses in Kern County. And as we continue to grow, we remain rooted here in our community. Valley Strong. Grow your possibilities.
Start of the fourth quarter. Patriots. Ooh, a big.
And up 40, met in the backfield by number 34.
Wow.
Blake Riggs on the tackle. That'll be third down, Patriots.
So on a second and goal from the 2. Big contact at the line of scrimmage, actually shoved him back, so it'll be 3rd and goal. I'm Vance Palm with Kenny Calvin, Julian Wilson on camera. We start the 4th quarter, and due to the pushed back start time, 4th quarter about to start. It's starting here now at 11 p.m. 11 p.m.
Yeah, 1st or 3rd and goal from that two-yard line.
Brock Turner, the lone back. Do they give it to Brock? They do. Can Turner get in? Oh, he gets hit hard at the goal line.
Great job by Spanish Springs, still trying to play with some pride. No matter what the score is, when you get to certain parts of the field, you want to keep playing with some pride. And I see what you're saying, VP. A little bit too much pretty back here. Let's just go ahead and smash.
They need to smash this football in the end zone, get this score taken care of.
Yeah, too much a little left or right. Ultimately, you get down here, ain't no time to be cute. Just falling forward, hat on the hat. That old school mentality of football that I talked about. But one of the things that I definitely continue to struggle with is seeing teams in shotgun inside the 3-yard line.
Higbee, they give it to him, and Higbee gets in, lowers the shoulder, and boom, touchdown.
Amazing job putting his head down and just lowering the boom.
That's a young man that wanted the end zone.
MVP, that was our first boom of the season.
Well, he lowered the shoulder and just went right in there hard. He was not going to be denied, and it's now 58-17.
Hard to imagine it was 7-3 in the 2nd quarter.
You're right.
But that's the kind of football team that Liberty has. You see them struggle for a few minutes, and you think you got them, and you start celebrating, and you look up, and you're down 30.
Jack Smith ready for the PAT.
New kicker coming in.
Got them back to back. It's a kicker's factory over here. I see.
Score 58-17 as the Patriots get ready to kick the ball away to Spanish Springs.
And VP, that running clock is now in effect.
So with a 58-17 score.
It's time to ask our parents and fans, and especially our Pat Ryan crew, to give a special thanks and welcome to the freshmen this year. Welcome to Liberty, freshmen.
No word on where we'll be next week. We'll let you know. Check out Kerr9 Network at KHSD. And we'll be able to fill you in on where we're going to be next week. We believe again Thursday night and Friday night.
Yeah, and let's talk about what's to come for some of these teams. Liberty will be at home versus Ridgeview next week.
Right.
And then they get Buchanan. So we'll see if those 50 pieces that were passed out.
Yeah, tonight after this game, they'll start taking a look at scores and think, wow.
All right.
Buchanan put up 56 on BHS.
But look at the strength of schedule for Liberty. Talk about starting off with a bang. You got Spanish Springs, who definitely came out playing very well in the 1st quarter and looked like that had potential to give Liberty some real problems today. And then you got Ridgeview. Ridgeview struggled a little bit last year.
Throw out the record books.
But then you got Buchanan. Then you got Central. Then you got Carlsbad. Then you got Garces, who's feeling pretty confident other than their tragedy today, losing to Los Alamitos. Stockdale, you guys watched them yesterday. You said they had some potential in spots. Interesting start of the year for Liberty, though.
And that'll bounce into the end zone for a touchback. Gators will take over 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line.
So it's going to be 1st and 10. And at this point, with the running clock, now for Spanish Spring, you just want to kind of try to get out of here without having some more injuries, as they've had a couple. But you still want to try to get some work in.
And another thing they don't want to do is let a 6 get up on that scoreboard.
Right.
58 is a big number, but 2 more,
well, yes,
is a bigger number. That's why they have me up here to add 58 plus 2 or 3.
You're right, though. I mean, 60-piece nuggets don't sit too well on a coach with a long way home.
Dane puts the ball in the hands of Tony Zucco.
And as we expected, Spanish Springs doing what we thought they'd do. Come out and just try to move the pile and get some of this clock rolling. You know, it's definitely a game where you're going to concede to the reality of what happened, but you don't want to get any of your star players hurt by trying to come out here and get scores just to allude to making the game look better.
Well, I see a lot of really clean white jerseys on the Cougar side, so I believe that is what's happening. And
the handoff to number 15, Christopher Shakespeare.
Even with
fighting along the left side,
the Liberty squad that comes on with a lot of guys that are now coming on to get some minutes out there.
I love it, man. You know, as a guy that spent the majority of my career as a starter, no greater feeling than seeing my teammates that worked their tails off all year get a chance to come in and get some quality minutes in front of their families, man.
We hoopsters were different. Never take us off. We didn't care. We didn't care. We didn't care about any of our brothers, man.
Oh, prima donnas.
Don't take us off. I don't care who that guy is, man.
You hear this guy over here, Eddie J? They wanted all the minutes.
Hey, basketball players are different. You know, he's talking about Eddie's talking about how good he felt when they get up big points to have the second, third team come in. He felt him a great feeling. I said, us hoopster didn't want anything, man. We'd be up 25. They come in and look at us. We're going, no.
Right, waving guys off.
Especially me at Cal State. I said, I only got like 4 shots up. Are you kidding me? I had to rebound all night. This is my chance to shoot a little bit. Stay on the bench over there, Burris.
Catch some alley-oops. VP, we remember you had hops.
4th and 5. They're going to have to punt it. And there's nobody back now, so no need to worry about K squared.
I mean, hey, when you've taken 2 to the house already, sheesh. Krishan Kizzy, man, how about the show he put on in his limited opportunities?
So this year we have offensive and defensive players of the game. We have T-shirts and a hat. T-shirts and a hat, and we'll get that to Tim Davis, athletic director, sometime this week. Just didn't get enough time to get the handoff in, but offensive player gets the T-shirt, defensive player gets the Current Network hat. Timeout taken on the field. Somewhat unfortunate.
Timeout, Sebastian Springs.
Man. Sebastian Springs. Sebastian Springs. Did you hear that?
Yes, I did. Hey, when you're getting lumped up, the home announcer's definitely going to screw your name up a little bit more.
PA announcers.
Put some pain on it.
Sebastian Springs.
Now, if you talk about kicking you while you're down, it's Spanish Springs, ladies and gentlemen.
Sebastian Springs, the man said. Offensive player of the game, Kenneth Calvin.
Offensive player of the game for me.
We can talk it out. I don't have to put you on the press. Put you on the hook.
You know, it's definitely – it's about that time. But when you see a team come out and help stabilize a situation, and you hate when I do this, so I'm not going to give it to a whole bunch of guys, but I am going to go with the big man wearing number 72 for the offensive player of the game.
So Grant Bucky, starter on the left side of both offensive defensive line. I think one of the things that I would concur with you on that about offensive player of the game and all season long is the fact that he's just on your team. The confidence level and the courage that you have to go into a game knowing the 72's on our side, on both sides of the ball every Friday night. You know, that's like going into a game with Shaq. Like, all right, we're all right. We got the big fella. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Not to mention the fact that every snap he has 4 hands on him.
Rich in the shotgun. Josh
on both sides of the ball.
Both sides of the ball. He's getting double teamed.
Pass to the far side.
And you're probably saying, well, how can he be double teamed if he's playing tackle? Because they're sending an outside backer to chip his one shoulder and the defensive tackle trying to go inside of him based on the fact that he's going to block both of them anyway.
4 hands, both sides of the ball. Offensive player of the game, Grant Bucky. Here in a minute, we're going to have to talk about defensive player of the game. And if you try to talk me out of Beckham Nilsson, we're going to have an on-air feud.
Rich hands the ball off.
Right, and there's probably a viewer saying, well, how come Sean Kinsey ain't offensive player of the game? Punt return isn't offense. Punt return is a defensive position.
So what they're going to do is they're going to say, well, we want the Kern 9 Network to put a special teams. We want Kern 9 Network. Hey, I'll see you Sunday, big boy. Take care.
Eddie J, my brother, is on his way.
He's got to get down and get to serious work now. Keep this raucous crowd exiting. And yeah. All right, EJ.
one of the most positive people and teammates I ever had in my life, Eddie Jackson.
I spend Sundays with him. All right. 1st and 10. They stay on the ground. Well, that's a nice spin and roll right there. That's Brock Turner. So offensive player of the game is the stalwart lineman, Grant Bucky. Defensive player of the game,
Taylor Birch.
Beckham Nilsson started things off with a pick six to the house that kind of just changed the whole complexion of the game at that moment. Early in the game, his pick six kind of just changed everything. And then on top of that, he's laid the wood 5 or 6 times right out here in the open ground for all of us to see. So congratulations. We'll get the shirt and the hat over to you next week.
You know those old football movies? You know,
Ball off to Turner.
that's what these linebackers at Liberty remind me of every time I come over here to do a game.
They want to hit.
They want to hit. They don't care what they do in any other position, even though most of them play 2 positions, both sides of the football. These guys want to fly around and hit people in the face.
You're right.
Like Jack Lambert, like old school linebackers. Lawrence Taylor. I mean, just even Luke Kuechly. Like it's linebacker U, or high, I should say, over here. Love it.
And they go down on one knee, and that's going to do it. A big win, 58-17. A big win, 58-17 for the Liberty Patriots. And we wish them the safest travels back as they head back on a long road trip. It's been great having them here in Bakersfield. Wish them all the best. And Julian, I want to thank you for being here tonight. As always, top-notch work, as always, buddy. Kenny, great to see you. Have a great weekend. Your final thoughts on this football game tonight?
Love seeing Liberty get back to business as usual. I know their fans are excited to see them do great. But ultimately, the city of Bakersfield is excited that football is back with Kern High Network. We appreciate everybody.
On behalf of everybody at Liberty High School, the Kern High School District, our director Stan Green, and to everyone that made this possible, our superintendents at the Kern High School District and Valley Strong Credit Union, for Julian and Kenny, I'm Vance saying good night, God bless, have a great weekend.